on your amp. You hit it with so much power it blows the circuitry. So one, that energy is damaging, right?
Yes.
We know because you just said it's definitely damaging.
Yes.
But also the time period. It's a spike. It's not continuous, which is part of the problem. In my head, this is how I'm processing what you said. If it's not continuous, then over time it essentially flattens out, right? Like if you're talking
now
instantaneous, it's a lot of power. It's a spike. That's correct. But after a certain period of time, it goes back down to zero or whatever reference level you are.
So here's what
that's what that spike is.
Wait a minute.
So
now, wait.
If you're talking about harnessing, hold on, because I wanted to make sure I got what you said so before I responded. I'm confused on how are you harnessing that energy without damaging the system when you clearly said that it damages the system to the point of destruction.
Okay, then you missed a few parts because I said Nikola Tesla solved that problem. Did you miss that part? Okay.
No, I'm asking you directly. Like, how are you planning on? I thought that's what you were pitching. Take that take that energy, harness it, and use it.
What I'm pitching is that the spikes that all the scientists are saying damages things, and they try to get rid of the system. First of all, it's producing more energy out than you're putting in, technically, and they don't like that. So they're trying to suppress it, and they do everything they can to suppress that. Okay,
I'm gonna have to push back on that as being more energy out than in, because again, once you take into the pulse width, when you take in the time it takes to create that really high spike, what you're doing is time is the denominator in that equation. So if you shrink time down to almost zero, that value gets erroneously large. Like, it's because of the time being so small. So that's why I was asking about the time period. That's what makes it large.
Okay.
So, but you're not getting more out than you put in.
Okay.
You're not getting that.
Let me break that down. Okay. The MOSFETs are very efficient of utilizing energy. So what you're doing is that because of what it's made out of, it creates back EMF. That means it switches from north to south. When you switch that at high speeds, it does act like a generator. So actually what it's doing, those spikes are acting, that's why you're getting your current.
Your phone's ringing and we can't hear you.
It's actually creating these spikes. That's what we.
Can you explain how EMF translates to generator?
Electromagnetic waves is in a motor. The magnet.
I know, but how does the EMF, electromotive force, translate to generator?
A generator produces EMF, back EMF, and forward EMF. Electromagnetic waves. That's the whole concept of motor. It means that it creates electricity when you have it back EMF, which causes the spike. Anything that's creating the electromagnetic waves, that means magnets and electricity, you're producing or generating power. The back EMF means that it's trying to also generate as well as make a motor move. So it's trying to go both ways, and one force has to overcome the other. So
that's egregiously incorrect. Where are amps in this conversation? Danny, I know you were going to bring that up. Like, so the EMF and motors and generator, I'm sorry, Danny, you got it, but please don't let us slide past that point, identity, because that's.
Well, let's do this. Can someone?
I was trying to be methodical.
Can someone do me a favor and go to the last video I did? Look at the demonstration that we did where we show how we take a speaker that cannot even run an LED light, And when you put an LED light and you tap it, because of the rapid tapping, it causes the LED to light up temporarily and go out really fast.
There's the time period I was talking about.
Okay. Wait. Let me finish. Wait a minute. This is why we don't understand. So if you finish out the video, it's a real short, first part.
Before you go to your video, though, I would like you to discuss EMF, specifically not electromagnetic waves, EMF and its relationship to motors. Specifically, you said generators, and where is current at in that conversation?
Okay, let me slow down. And what I'm trying to get to you, if you look at the example first, not only did it answer the question on how we can use and utilize those spikes, if you look at...
I know,
okay, wait. Let me finish, because everybody, if you cut the information off, what we end up doing is that you only using the technology that you're used to. So if you're used to a technology and you're versed in the technology that you're used to, and someone's trying to show you something new, and you go, no, that doesn't make sense, because you're going back to the old way. So I'm introducing to you how those spikes can be used. If you watch that and I says, well, did that solve the problem? Then we can move forward, because that is working on back EMF spikes. And it's working as a generator. The example that I put in there and actually using those spikes, it's just perfect. That's why I just say, people, if you go to the video and watch the first little part of that and see the things, it just blows a person's mind that someone would actually use it in that manner.
So EMF and generators. Can you just elaborate on that?
Motors work on electromagnetic waves. That means energy. Okay, that's what it comes from the magnet.
So I'm confused. Why are you saying electromagnetic waves, but you're talking about EMF?
Because
I'm confused.
Because you in a motor you have a magnet and you have wire, right? When that wire...
While you're explaining that, can you send a link or something to your video? I can at least have it.
I see the confusion.
Hold on, because I want to make sure I want to see what he's talking about, because it might be a learning moment in there. Does anybody know where the video is? I don't know even where to look.
Go to Lloyd Stovall and go to YouTube. My name.
Okay, so just your name. Okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Keep talking. I'll do it in the back.
Okay, so you in a motor, you have a coil wire that's spinning in a...
No, I get that, but I'm confused in the way you're describing it, brother. When you're saying EMF, and then you're saying electromagnetic waves. So you're saying electromagnetic waves include magnetism, radio waves.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So you got magnets putting...
That's a confusion there. That's why we're confused, because you keep saying EMF and then you're saying electromagnetic waves.
Okay, so
electromagnetic waves don't...
Magnets put out magnetism, right?
No, magnets produce a magnetic field.
Okay, is that a wave?
It's a magnetic field.
Yes, we know.
It knows the magnetic field.
Okay, but you're saying field, but the way they describe it, a field is also a wave, right?
No, because
so you got a field without a wave.
Field theory.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, it's not one-to-one. It's not the same thing when you're talking about a magnetic field.
The
you're talking about an environment versus a standing point.
The electromagnetic frequencies.
No, I'm not talking about frequencies yet. I'm not talking about frequencies.
We live within the Earth's gravitational field.
Right.
The gravitational field does not define gravity.
Yes, but in the field, the magnetic field, I'm asking, is that also a wave?
Yes, it is a wave, technically, but it has nothing to do with the electromagnetic waves that you're talking about. You talk electromagnetic wave, you're talking about a spectrum, an energy spectrum.
Okay,
magnetic field, you're talking about a single entity
produces by
a very specific term.
So no, what I'm saying is that when you put electricity into the wire, and that wire is spinning into that magnet field that you got, you just introduce electricity and magnetism, electromagnetic field or waves, because you're spinning it, that, and the frequency comes in on the cycle of the motor spinning the wire in the magnetic field.
No offense, brother, that's gravely incorrect.
Okay, so then, like I said, look at the video and explain how I did that. Explain how that was possible.
I'm sure we could, but your experimentation doesn't rule out the need for language. You know what I mean? If we're describing,
do you know what a magnetic field is?
If I tell you we're using a hexagonal screwdriver, and then I pass you a flathead, would that make sense to you? And then I tell you go watch my video. Would that make sense to you?
Well, again, what you're saying is that you don't. Wait a minute. You
have a hexagonal screw.
Wait a minute. You're making a point, and I get your point. But the whole point is that every scientist who really gets into the field has a point where he says, if you don't describe something in my terms, I won't accept it. So guess what? You have scientists or inventors like Nikola Tesla who has created things outside that realm, and you say, I dismiss it. So what we do?
Tesla did not create anything outside of that realm. George Westinghouse invested thousands of dollars into Nikola Tesla.
Okay, so you really thought he was going to transmit energy over the line, to antenna to antenna? You thought he was going to actually do that? It's impossible.
Right now we're doing it. Right now
we're doing that, man.
You're not transferring. You're not transferring amps over the way. That's impossible to transfer.
All right. So you see how you're throwing the words in? What is an amp then? Because I'm confused. Nobody said the
word. Current.
We're not discussing current. What do you
current can't be transmitted. That's what we're talking about. Amps can't be transmitted. The current can't.
What are you calling when you say current can't be transmitted? If you got struck by lightning, what would that be called?
High voltage spikes.
And what would kill you with also part of that lightning? What's the average amperage in lightning? Because what you just said was another egregiously incorrect. And lightning has amp.
Yes, lightning has amps.
So therefore, you can get lightning from something out of the air. So that was incorrect what you just said.
But lightning is a physical wave. It's not just unseen. So
no, lightning is a plasma.
Yes, exactly. So therefore, it's more at the light spectrum than it is just a regular wave being transmitted.
No. So brother, we want us to move forward. But the challenge is, we want to understand your definition. So if you're saying, because you're using words that we use, but you're using it in your own way, and so we're just.
Well, I'm using what every paper has wrote, that they said Nikola Tesla's antenna would never work because you cannot transfer amps long distance. That's what they wrote in every picture.
That's what why are we talking about transferring amps in long distance? Right now, we want to understand, how are you moving a motor without amps? Because you just talked about a generator using electromagnetic waves.
You don't transfer amps, bro. You transfer current.
No, that's what I just said. That's what I was saying. I said post current. That's what you're transferring. It turns it into.
Why would you be transferring current?
The way he's saying it,
the logic makes no sense.
Yeah, like saying you transfer amps, the current that you're transferring
is post current. And I did say in the beginning that current is different than amps. They're two different phenomena.
So I can see he's using the terms, but he's using it at his own volition. Like he's not.
Yeah, he's pulling a Wally.
I'm okay with you transferring the knowledge, for lack of a better term here. I'm okay with you transferring the knowledge, but understand, if you're not reaching me, if I don't understand, I would at least hope that you want to try to explain it in a different manner that I can. You can't just say, hey, you just don't get it. That's not a good back and forth in the conversation. So when you're using these terms, sometimes you're using them specifically, and then other times you're using them as like a placeholder. Wave is a field. Wait a minute, how are you that nonchalant with that? But then you say current and amp. You're very specific with that. So you're like in and out with what you're standing on. So that's the confusion for me. And I'm sure other people are hearing it too.
And that's the confusion. That's the confusion that they've always put on there, because they have a specific way you have to tell the scientists, the people who are putting out this information.
I told you, science is the day now. Science is.
They have a specific way you must say everything, and if you don't say it in those specific sequence, then they have a problem. They say, "Oh, this doesn't work."
Do you understand why that is true, though? Do you understand why that's true?
And I'm asking you, do you understand why that's not true? Because you can't advance if you don't try new things.
I will explain to you why it is true. I will explain to you why it is true. Because if I explain it the exact way I did the experiment to you, you can repeat it the exact same way I did it. The same units, the same components, the same circuit, the same. I don't need to change the language. This is how I know it works. That LED turns on because I put 3.7 volts on it, and I limited the current with a series resistor. Now, if I told you the current is a wave, and that's why it's important. It's to transfer the knowledge. So I ain't not going to stand here and say that we shouldn't be speaking specifically. We should be.
Okay.
That was very precise and straightforward, easy to comprehend.
So why does the experiment work? Explain it.
What experiment?
See, again, that's why we broke down, because you didn't go.
Well, you have a bunch of videos. I don't know.
No, it was the latest video out there, and right in the book it shows a water droplet dropping into the water to explain transit energy. This is the topic that no one wants to touch.
13-minute video, you mean?
Yeah, but you only had to watch the first few minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'm literally trying to find out where you wanted me to be. That's all.
Right there in the beginning. And then.
Hey Q, do you want to bring this up? I'm gonna leave this to the panel. Whoever's running the channel, Ms. Do you guys want to do this or no?
We could bring it up if it's important. But what are you gonna show us? The water drop in the pond and create a ripple or something?
Okay, now that's the part where I'm explaining transit energy, the spikes. Then it's going to go into showing you on a speaker, as you tap it, that is the same thing, transit energy. These are the spikes they say is unusable. Then it's going to go into how we use those energy and keep constant power running the LED lights. That's all I wanted you to see. And then explain it, because maybe I'm explaining it wrong, but when you see the experiment, maybe you can explain how that's working.
I think Ms. or Q or somebody got to bring it up. So I'm on your page now. Hey Q, can you hear me, Q? Or Ms. or somebody? Alright, well, until they come up, you keep going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, what we end up is being on the same page, because then in your terminology, you can explain how a speaker that does not have the power to run the LED lights in the first place, but the tangent energy that you cause because of the coil and the magnet and the abruptness of it causes that spike to make it temporarily light up. So we agree about the tangent energy.
Wouldn't the potential energy in that coil show the same thing?
What do you mean?
You would have to show me that coil has zero potential within it. Within that speaker is a coil.
Yes.
With a coil is an inductor. An inductor can store energy by simply passing current through it. So when you disconnect the battery, there's still some energy in that speaker unless you dissipate it. right?
Yes.
Same thing with a capacitor. Same idea. Maybe not. Well, it's just a straight wire, but it's still energy. It's energy storage for electrical current in a certain frequency.
Yes, that's what we call back EMF.
In the speaker. So if you dissipate it through an LED, honestly, that's not impressive to me, because that to me tells me there was energy in the speaker enough to drive that little LED that takes next to nothing.
I didn't have like the old time component set that I play music on, and you're right, because when I plug it out, fully plug it out from the power source, shut it off, like a few seconds later, there would still be a light, like power in the system.
But wait a minute, you're changing the scenario. We dissipated the speaker. We're putting.
That's not what I heard. That's what I heard. That's not what I heard. That's why I was asking.
I thought you had watched the video so we could be on the same page. See that?
No, I was going to watch it with the people once we're able to bring it up.
Okay.
We're all going to watch it together. That's what I was.
Okay,
hoping somebody could bring it up.
Let's watch it together, because like I said, once you see the experiment, you go, okay, this is a fully it has no energy in the speaker, and the lights, when you tap it abruptly, it flashes, and that's all it can do. So what we're trying to get to is that tangent energy, is the energy spikes, and explain why those energy spikes happen in that scenario. If we can get to that point, then we can go to the next point. That way I'm not explaining.
Yeah, when they come up, we'll show the video. We'll walk through it. But to my understanding, again, if you're saying the coil is dissipated of all potential energy,
yes,
and then somehow that light turns on, you've just violated a fundamental. You cannot create power from nothing. Like, you can't create energy from nothing. So there had to have been some conversion. So again, that's the part where you're going to have to show me you started at 0 and you ended up at 5.
Okay.
So you would get Nobel Prize for this.
Okay, and we'll start with that. So the word transient energy is how it's spelled. Tell me the definition of it.
Oh boy. Transient energy?
Yes.
Oh, he's asking a question. I was letting him talk.
Isn't that energy isn't that like kinetic energy? Energy that is being utilized or in motion or work?
No,
these are spikes that happen randomly in electronics and what's.
I already got a page that I want to show for that. The project I actually have that.
Can you read a definition of it then? Because you're saying no. These
transient voltage, often referred to as voltage transients or electrical surges. That's kind of what it is. Electrical surge is a sudden, short-lived spike in voltage levels within an electrical circuit. So this is why it's damaging to circuits, because the voltage is extremely high. Relative to where the operating of the material can handle.
Yes.
So if you're talking mosfets.
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
One reason why you'd imply like fuses and stuff.
Yes.
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 Yes. And also there's a circuit design you can actually have shunt capacitance that actually resists.
Exactly.
So you can actually control it that way as well. But the point is, it's transient. It's you know what a really good example of it is? Electrostatic.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you touch a doorknob, it's really high and it shocks you, but it's so short-lived, it's not going to kill you. You feel it, yes, and it is extremely high relative to the doorknob's potential, like essentially 0. But because of that transfer, it's immediate. So that's why I'm asking about the harnessing part, because if it's an immediate, you're going to need a bunch of those just to collect that energy.
Okay.
You need a bunch of them.
That's why it was so important.
If you have a bunch of them.
Wait a minute. That's why it was.
You get around not damaging your system. These signals are detrimental to circuit design.
Yes. Exactly. That's why it was so important for you to look at the example. So you've already covered the transient energy, and we are in total agreement on exactly what those are. Now we're getting to the point. How did we harness them? So when you finish the part, you'll start to see.
Oh, your phone's ringing, bro. We can't hear you.
I disconnected it. I thought I disconnected it.
Still ringing.
Boy, it's countries. Like I said, other countries are trying to contact
You
me.
can't answer because the answer is gonna get cut off.
I'm trying to cut it off now without disconnecting you guys.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay. But yeah, that's why I said it was important to watch the illustration. And this is the reason why I have everybody calling me. Is because when I did the illustration, the illustration explained
Illuminati.
a lot. Yes.
Uh-oh. Gotta keep a black man down. Uh-oh.
Now, all I'm just trying to do is get
Lloyd,
to
where
that
you
one
at,
point.
bro?
Me? I'm in Laos.
Yeah, sure.
Ah.
When I was doing
You literally got that spike. You got that transit energy right now when you got the phone call.
Damaged his circuit.
Damage it. Phone can't take it.
So let me ask you though.
I'm still here.
It was held.
Can you
Is
guys
it
hear me?
possible are you hearing me? Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
Go on, Lord.
No, I'm just. I thought you said I got cut off.
Yeah, you were going for a minute, but we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. It does that for some reason, but again,
You thought the Illuminati got you.
right?
The energy got you.
Yes, right. But like I said, this is one of the phenomena that we've been trying to talk about, utilize, and I think Nikola Tesla. I know Nikola Tesla was trying to say the same thing. He says, if you want to know the whole universe, think on the lines of vibration, frequency, and energy. And he just left it as that. So it was so open-ended. And when we apply those things to the circuits that we're doing, we start to see that the phenomena that they said they couldn't control those spikes is not true. They don't want us using those spikes because they don't have an explanation for what transit energy actually is. So they discount it. And when you go to any AI and and they say, we discount it. We understand that we know what the phenomena is, but we discount it. So I was saying, if you discount something in science, either you have to go so far into the future for us to start looking at it again, or it takes open-minded people to sit down and say, okay, let's look at this, find out as best we can what it is and how we can harness it, and then you made something new.
So again, like the only pushback I really have is it's too short-lived to be useful. High voltage doesn't mean high power, for one. Because it's high voltage, doesn't matter. If it's high current, doesn't matter on its own. It's the power that matters. That's what we transfer. Not the current, not the voltage. We transfer the power through different mediums. So if you're telling me that the voltage spikes, but the time frame is so minuscule, what am I going to use that for if it averages out to essentially zero?
Okay.
Like that's if it's not a constant signal for me to capture every time. If it's not constant, then what am I going to use it for other than like damaging my circuit for one?
Okay, and this is where frequency comes in.
Okay.
That's
explain. I'm waiting.
Okay, but it's easier to explain when you see the demonstration. So when you see the demonstration, I show how we use frequency to get those spikes to be at a level that we can use tangent energy, those spikes. So that's why I said I did the representative. That's why I said I have all these people calling in because they never seen that. So when you look at it, we asked the first question. First of all, is that tangent energy? The way I did it. When we go to the second part, it was like, okay, this is not usable, which you hear me say. But then when you see the results at the very end of the example, you see me put frequency into that, And now we're using that to light not only the few LED lights, but 100 LED at full power. So then we go, okay, so what just happened? That's why it was important to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I have real world experiences of just that. I'm trying to make sure it relates to almost everybody in the audience. Like the idea of, did anybody like hit the vacuum and then their lights flickered? Or something flickered or something like drained power? Or
Yes.
That's a real world experience of a spike. Like something came in with a huge current rush, but it was very just a small moment of time. Didn't shut the house off, but it did dim the lights for her like a split second.
Yes.
So those spikes, yes, they have high levels, but the usability of them, you're saying, yes, we can use them. So the first hurdle to me is the harnessing. If you have that part, I am wholeheartedly going to listen and watch.
Okay.
I wish somebody could bring the video up. I'm sorry, people, but we don't have anybody up here to bring the video up. I don't have that power.
So first of all, just get one person to go see the video and let him describe it in his explanation. Because you guys
put it in the back chat, in the private chat.
Yeah, I can watch. I was trying to listen to you. I didn't want to watch and listen because I'm not going to be able to process both. So I can take a peek at it.
Yeah, take a peek at it.
I'll be going for a couple minutes. All right. Well, you got it, Amin?
Yeah.
You want to hold it down? All right.
So when you say frequency, though, what do you mean by frequency? Because a lot of people use that term out of context.
What I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use the example that he's taking a peek at. What happened is that when we do the speaker and we tap the speaker, we get the LEDs to flash. Like you said, this is what the scientists are saying that's unusable. Okay. Then we go on to the next example where we glue a magnet onto the speaker. And then we put a magnet onto a motor that spins at high speeds. Okay? We then lower that next to the speaker, and the speaker is matching the speed of the north and south, back and forth, of the moving motor, which now lights 100 LED lights, and they can continue lighting them. So we're saying we just confirmed that this is transient energy when we tap the speaker. Now we're showing how we can harness that. So when you see it and you start to understand what's going on, it was like, okay, so this is usable. So then I start to explain that Nikola Tesla made a wire configuration.
So hold on. You're saying all of this is done without any external energy source?
Yes. That's what that was the whole point.
But you say you got two magnets and you got them turning, so you pretty much make a motor.
Yeah, okay, so now you understand
what are you using to turn the motor?
In the example, we're using an external power source. But the whole point is that MOSFETs, when you trigger it, we use a reed switch. So the whole point of turning the MOSFET on at high speeds like that, that's why we're calling it a motor, or like a motor, not a motor, but like a motor. Because now what we're doing is we're harnessing transient energy, and this is making what they call pulsed current. That's why I'm saying, to get on the same page, when one watches the video, then if I'm wrong,
I need to watch a video to fully understand.
Yeah, and when you do, then you can explain. It was like, okay, this is what happened, and this is why it happened. So the whole at the end of the day,
put the video. You could share your video now if you're on a laptop or a computer. Miz is here now, so we could share it.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Is Miz here? Yeah, he got to be here because
just showed up.
Yeah.
Can you pull that?
We can watch it. We can share it now. It sounds interesting, but for some reason it doesn't sound new. It sounds like
I see the issue though.
Okay, so you picked that.
I do. I don't want to taint the waters. I don't want to taint the waters.
But so you picked at it.
Something that been implemented already. It sounds like it doesn't sound like anything new. The only part
I didn't. Oh, wait a minute.
Transient energy.
Let's say something. I think all through the videos, I keep saying this is not new. I keep saying this is not new.
Okay. Well, we didn't watch your video yet, so you got to give us that.
Okay.
Let's. How can we see it though? You got to share. You got to share your video. Present.
I'm on the phone, so.
Yeah, Miss, can you share?
Put it in a.
I got it up already. I'm waiting for Miz to pull it up.
Oh, you got it up.
Yeah, I'm in the back. I'm sharing. There we go.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. From what I'm hearing, I could tell you it's nothing new, but the part where you're saying you're harvesting the transient energy, that's the part
that video is not mine. That's up there, so.
So this is that. I didn't know where I just kind of skimmed through to see where you wanted me to be. But one thing that struck me was
click on Lloyd Stovall. So it brings up the back channel. Do you see that one that looks it's white and it looks like it's got a solar? That's the one. That's the last video that I made.
That's the one I was on.
Okay.
This one.
That's the one I was on.
Show you how I afforded this car.
Sorry,
okay, you ready? All right,
Hello, everybody. I'm
this one,
talking
right?
to you from the country of.
Can you hear it?
Yes, I can hear it.
So where do you want me to go to? Because we can't. We're not gonna watch.
Yeah, just skip ahead just a little. No, not too far. Go back towards the front.
Yeah, you had a lot of still imaging. That one?
Nope. It's go towards the front. Keep going.
That one?
No. Hold on. Go out of that video. Go back to the other video because it's right there at the beginning.
You on the wrong video, bro.
Okay, hit that one. There it is. That's it. See, that's the speaker.
Fair use. This is for learning purposes. Fair use.
Energy.
Now this is 24 minutes, so we gotta.
It's only the first video.
The content creator is on the panel.
You went too far. The demonstration is over.
Droplet at the top, the big one. That is the initial energy going into the system. Let's watch what happens. That is regular energy. And this spike coming up is tangent energy. See? Look how large the spike is. This is what we're trying to explain. See this?
I'm sorry, what's the difference?
Keep going.
No, because I don't want to go too far where I missed the question. What was the difference between those two?
The spike. All you have to do is measure the spike. If you measure the spike, you see the water droplet going up in the air is much larger than the other one.
Yeah, it loses gravitational potential.
Run it back 10 seconds. Run it back 10 or 15 seconds so you can see the difference.
The big one.
Just run it back a few seconds.
That's the initial energy going into the system. Let's watch what happens. That is regular energy.
Regular.
And this spike coming up is tangent energy. See? Look how large the spike is. This
the second drop
is what we're trying to explain. See the spike?
Yeah, I'm still lost. It looks like drops.
I saw 2 drop water.
Yeah, one was higher than the other, but what makes one regular and one?
That's why we going on to the next. We going on to the next example. Keep going.
Yeah, I lost that point. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right. That's tangent energy. Let's pause it for a minute. See this bright
Do we agree that that's tangent energy?
that's on? We represent this as tangent energy. It's not.
Alright, how do I say this? So, in that speaker is a coil. In that coil, there's 2 electrodes. When you actually move up and down that what is it called? Is it diaphragm? What is it called? I forgot.
Diaphragm.
Yeah, when you actually move that, it's the reverse of putting energy in and moving it as a speaker. You put electrical power into the speaker, it vibrates that cone. But if you move the cone manually, it generates. It's an electrical generator because it's physics. It's just a magnet in there.
That's it.
It's a coil, and when you move that coil, it perturbs the magnetic field and it generates an electrical signal.
So we
That's
don't.
Lloyd, with your water example, what if that drop of water fell on like grass or concrete? You know you wouldn't get that splash.
Yes.
The only reason why you get that splash is because
But the water example explains when you put energy into a iron field or a conductor and it kicks back. It was supposed to show the example of electromagnetic kickback. That's what it was supposed to do. And the spike coming back up, it's explaining that.
I got you.
Okay, so what we're trying to understand
is that hit the water and it reverbed into one center, and that's why the spike comes up.
Right.
Because it's all the energy that radiated from the center bounced back at the same time. That's where the energy
is coming from.
Shooting up.
Yes.
Yes, but that's energy that was put into the system with the drop hitting the water. That energy.
Yes.
That dissipated and it's brought back.
And
it has gravitational
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you had ever finished, if you ever finished this thing, I'm saying the same thing. See, you're
okay.
See, that was the whole point. We're saying the same thing. That's called back EMF. Because you're not only.
I'm looking for the aha moment, to be honest, because I'm looking for that. Okay, this is something I've never seen. Like, I'm looking for it.
Okay, but I'm asking you. I'm asking you as you stop the video. When you tap the speaker, is that considered tangent energy? Because it doesn't have enough power to run the LED or slowly dissipate it. It just immediately stops.
Depends on how you define tangent energy. How are you defining that?
They're a temporary spike. So that's a temporary spike.
Yeah.
Right.
But that spike is caused because of your tapping, though. You're inputting that energy.
Yes. It's an example.
The energy from the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're mechanically inputting in energy.
And so does a MOSFET. When you put energy into a MOSFET, you're doing, because you're making those same spike. They're temporary, but when you put high frequency in there, it does the same thing. It is making those spikes. And it says so.
I would argue no, because there's no moving part in a MOSFET other than the charge carriers.
Okay, so there we have the point that we disagree, because everyone that I ever know says that MOSFETs does create tangent energy spikes.
That depends on the input. It depends on the parasitic capacitance on that FET. There's a lot of dependencies on that. You can eliminate that spike, yes.
But I don't want to.
If you don't filter properly, and you don't.
But I don't want to.
Okay, so I'll give you the term that's used in industry. It's called ringing.
Yes.
If you Google ringing.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes.
But ringing dissipates, right?
If you let it.
It's never going to be as high on that. When it goes up and comes back down, it's never going to be as high as it was in the first pass. And every time it passes a cycle, it dissipates. It
just like dropping a tennis ball.
So
it never bumps as high as before.
That's
Unless you keep inputting energy.
Wait a minute.
Here's the catch. Here's the catch. If you put enough energy to where that's sustainable, the system has to be able to handle that kind of power.
That's what I've been saying.
That's damaging.
Wait a minute. That's what I'm just saying.
If it actually amplifies, if it comes back larger than it started, if the feedback is horrible, like that's extremely damaging to a system. That's runaway. I heard you say that word. I think.
Yes, you did. That's why I said we're in agreement. But then I said Nikola Tesla.
The MOSFET itself is not the source. It's based on what you put into it.
Yes, exactly. It's based on what you put into it.
It's not creating energy.
I never said it was creating energy. You guys are saying it's creating energy. See, that's what I'm trying to say. No. I'm saying no. I
apologize if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard create. I thought that you said the MOSFET's doing all these different things.
No, I said
it's no. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna let you explain it because this is not my experiment. But go ahead.
Okay, we're saying that the MOSFET is doing exactly what that speaker is doing. Okay, it's creating a back EMF. And then I confirmed that and I researched that. Does MOSFETs, when you switch it at high speed, create back EMF? And the answer is yes. So if that is creating a back EMF spike that lights the LED lights temporarily, we went to AI, several of them, and asked, is that tangent energy? And it said yes. Okay, so I'm asking you the same question because you guys are the experts. Is that tangent energy? You're saying that, it's being generated. You're putting energy in it.
Define it again for me.
That it's just an energy spike that's unusable because it only lasts for short periods of time.
If you say that's what tangent energy is, I'll agree with that definition of what it is. I'm not familiar with the term of what you're using, but the definition, it's a spike. I agree, it's a spike.
Okay, so what I'm saying in the example, did I do a good job in the example explaining the spike with the LEDs?
The correlation, no. Between water drop, that was not really correlated at all.
So what about this?
Because you're so I don't want to get too technical with this.
I want you to get
talking
technical.
about that reflected. So when you're talking about the MOSFET doesn't do anything but react to the input you put in it.
Yes.
So depending on the levels and the power and the current and all that other stuff, it just reacts to what you do to it.
Yes.
So when you're sending in that signal and it spikes and there's no feedback in the circuit, for any amplifier designers out there, you know what I'm talking about. If there's no feedback, then what you're watching is a reflected wave. If it's certain frequency, maybe it resonated, whatever.
Yes.
It came back. That's useless.
Yes.
Passed through the system is useful. But the energy that's coming back is just a fraction of what we put in.
Yeah.
A fraction, not more.
But okay.
So why would we care by getting 80% of our energy back? Why don't we just use the energy we started with? Like that to me is why I don't see the purpose.
That now we're defining what energies, because you did now you're doing what all the scientists saying. You just switched from we put energy in there. Okay, so what energy did we put in there? We put voltage into it, right?
Voltage is an energy.
It's not a form of energy?
No.
Okay, so what is it?
A volt times an amp is energy.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm just saying voltage. What is it? Potential energy?
Potential. It's a potential difference.
Okay, a potential difference. Okay,
between 2 points.
So we put potential difference into that circuit, which we're showing. We put in the potential energy into it when we tap the speaker. But because it's short-lived, that's what we call a spike. All right? So now what you said is that why would we take that and then get back the same thing? But what we're doing is we're transferring it from one form to another. We're taking the voltage and getting current out of it because of the high wave.
That's what a MOSFET does.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying.
Well, you're just explaining how a MOSFET operates.
Yes, I am.
It's a voltage-controlled current source. That's all it is.
Yes, exactly.
You apply a voltage, a channel gets created, creates a path within the device, so now you can pass a current through it, and you can control that current based on the bias between the drain and the source. Like, all of that is, we understand that to a T.
Now you just said what I said in the video, that this is old technology. So you keep saying that you understand it.
Where's the use is where I'm looking. So maybe I'm missing that. Where's the usage? Where are we talking?
Okay.
What's new here?
Okay. We didn't say new. You going back and saying new when we just said it's old.
If it ain't new, then what are we talking about?
Okay, so
why are we talking about old?
Because the whole point is little nuances that they keep skipping over. Because again, they dismiss it, and that's what you're doing. You're dismissing something that we're trying to show. We've yet to even get through the little example. Because
you want to get through the example, I'll stop talking.
Okay, let's get through the.
Let's go back to the video.
Yes, let's go back to the video.
At this point, I understand what he's saying. He's just explaining what a MOSFET does.
Thank you.
So we could just watch it.
Well, I don't understand the victorious laugh though.
Because I've been saying the same thing you guys are saying.
I am too, Amin. That's what's bothering me, Amin. I am too. I'm waiting for that wow moment.
I haven't had that spike. Put it that way. Pause.
Okay.
Alright. I'll go back to your video. Hold on. Wale, we're giving it a chance, right? Are we being respectful, Wale? Are we being respectful? I hope Lloyd doesn't feel like we're disrespecting.
He's trying to prove his claim, and we have to watch his video, I guess. But so far, he's good. I ain't gonna lie, he's good.
The spike is. This is what we're trying to explain. See the spikes? That's tangent energy. Let's pause it for a minute. See this bright light that's on? We represent this as tangent energy. It's not really usable in this type of form. That means you tap it, it appears, and then it disappears. But it's a way to harness this energy, which Nikola Tesla talks about. Now, ordinarily, this speaker, which you see in the picture, cannot run those LED lights. That's the reason why when it's tapped, it flashes so fast and then it's gone. Let's watch it again.
Are your drainage holes often clogged with hair?
Sorry. Hold on.
This is energy not being able to be used. Tap it rapidly and it's usable energy. In this short demonstration, we're going to...
Hold on. That statement right there is what I said. Unless you continuously hit this thing, what do you do with it?
Okay,
now it has to be a constant. In order to keep that LED on, it has to be a constant current. Not up and down.
Wait a minute, and here comes the explanation about frequency. Here comes the explanation about frequency. So continue.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. You had a question? Sorry.
Yeah. Because I'm saying every turbine I could think of, based on the same principle, if the water turbine is spinning too slow, it's not going to be generating the current at a frequency to sustain a grid. Any turbine. But if it spins fast enough, because each turn produces a little current, just like when you tap. So each tap would be like a turbine, whether it be wind or water. One of those turbine blades turn each tap. So if you're gonna tap it fast enough, that's like the turbine spinning, wheeling up fast enough to produce a sustainable amount of current. When I say, I mean the flow. So
hey, all my Zions kids out there, all my Zions kids, if y'all want to do this, take one of your hobby motors, put an LED on the end of the hobby motor, and just turn the axle of the motor fast enough. You'll see it light up. It's the same principle.
Yes, it is. And that's what we're saying, is we're saying the same thing. So that's why I said we can get on the same page. So let's watch the last
wait
part.
Wait for that wow moment, Lloyd. We wait for that wow moment.
Yes, I know, but be patient. We haven't gotten through the video. That's the whole point. The little demonstration.
We watch 24 minutes, do we?
No, it's almost done.
As this is something that science kind of overlook and scientists kind of missed it. Everything you're showing so far has been utilized in electricity.
And I said that. So you're seeing everything that I've already said on all my videos.
Couple minutes, right? We get pass through. Hold on.
I'll show you how to use tangible energy. As you see, we took and destroyed a speaker and put a ping pong ball with magnets on it. We're now going to show you that the second magnet you see in this person's hand can move the magnet that's on the device or the old speaker. Now, as you see him pushing, no energy can be made. So how do we use Nikola Tesla's tangent energy, these energy spikes? We're giving you a representative of what the magnet looks like. So you can see as it's moving, it's pushing the wheel. And the faster you vibrate, called frequency, the more energy can be produced from tangent energy.
I hear you, bro. But again, I just said hobby motor, didn't I? So before I hit play, because I think this is your wow moment, but what you're doing is transfer. You have an electrical source going into the motor that's converting it into a mechanical axle spin, a radial spin with a magnet. When you spin that magnet, you're changing the magnetic field, which is perturbing the magnet below it.
Yes.
Which is why it vibrates.
Yes.
So again, we're not transferring current. We're transferring energy. This is energy. Electrical energy to mechanical to magnetic.
Okay.
Yes, and then you're going back to magnetic. So now the only
wait, we're going back. Wait a minute. You said going back to magnetic.
How much energy did you put in versus how much you got out?
So you're saying that we're not getting post current out of this?
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that. So the whole point is
yes, you're going to get it because you have a magnetic field that's constantly changing.
So
which is going to make that other magnet constantly change its magnetic pressures. It's going to feel that.
So you're making my point that I've been saying on all my videos.
Wait a minute. So here's what I want you to follow. The energy that you put in will always be less than what you got out.
Okay.
Exactly. And with so many different
you keep saying energy, and I'm not talking about the energy. We're trying to convert it over to current.
Hook up those LED bulbs straight to the source that you're running the motor to.
I'm gonna give him the grace. We're giving the grace. I'm gonna let him finish the video. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm just trying to be thorough.
This right here is produced from frequency. And Nikola Tesla talked about this. 100 LED lights being lit up from a speaker that people normally say cannot do this. But the difference between voltage and amperage is its frequency. The frequency of shaking voltage or vibrating it produces amps. Thank you.
One second. I'll be right back.
So that's post current.
I still haven't seen the R moment yet.
That's post current. The post current is what we're seeing. So now when I go into using LED lights to run my solar panels, and I only have voltage, that means I get full voltage potential from using a lesser light, because it comes from artificial light, and we put it through the circuit of the MOSFETs, we're changing that energy into a higher current. And since we have 2 for 1 input, that means 5 volts to run the LED lights. We got 1 on the solar panel on the top, and we have 1 solar panel at the bottom, both producing 17 volts. When we take 17 volts, because we only need 12, and we put it on one end of the MOSFET, that means that this is the energy going into the MOSFET, and then use the other to trigger the on and off, turn the MOSFET on and off. What you end up doing now at the output, you're creating a higher current. So we're not saying that we're producing more energy out than we're producing. What we're saying is we're getting pulse current that's higher than the energy that comes from the solar panels themselves. So that means that I got all my amps back plus the amps, because the 20-watt solar panel only produces, rounding off, about 1 amp. So if I can get 5 amps out and the regular 17 volts, now we can times the 17 volts times the amps that comes from the MOSFETs, and now you got usable wattage. That's my wow moment.
See, if your input energy was from a natural energy source like solar, wind, or water, or otherwise, then it would actually make sense.
Wait a minute, did you put me on mute? I just said my energy comes from solar.
Oh, so you're using solar energy to run on it.
Okay, so let me go through the explanation again.
So you're using solar energy to pass that through the MOSFET.
Yes.
The MOSFET. And then
transfer it over to current.
Yeah, to power LED bulbs that then use as source for a secondary solar panels that's gonna now produce electricity for you.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
So
wait a minute.
Wouldn't it be more efficient to just set up the secondary solar panel outside and just use solar panel and done?
Again, because you didn't hear.
Unless you're telling me that maths doesn't count, because according to the physics. Not the physics.
Did you hear the explanation on how I set up this
electricity?
Did you hear this?
You're gonna be losing current. You're gonna be losing energy somewhere.
Okay. Yes, we're losing energy somewhere. But what I'm saying is, if you didn't hear what I said, then you can never understand.
I heard you.
Okay. So how many solar panels do we have?
Alright.
I'm back. My bad, y'all. My bad.
2 in your basement and the ones that you got outside.
That's what you're misunderstanding. That's our disconnect right there. Okay? I'm saying let's go over the 1 unit. I take LED lights, wrap them around foam core. And when you wrap them around a foam core, you have 2 sides. Then I sandwich that LED lights, which only runs on 5 volts. Okay? And we put them between the 2 20-watt solar panels. We get only voltage. We lose our amps because of the LED light being not an intense light. If you do that, we now have 17 volts with 2 different sides, back, the top and bottom. So we have 17 volts. If you put that 17 volts into that MOSFET as the power source, that means the bottom one, and then take the top source, this is where you're losing power, and put it in for triggering the MOSFET to trigger at high speeds. Okay? You're now transferring.
I'm looking at it a little little late. What's top and bottom of a MOSFET?
This is what the energy thing. You have to go through the rest of the video. That is my system, and the only thing that we're doing is we're just getting our current back using pulse current. And everything you just said, you've already guys already admitted, we're saying the same thing. You're losing energy, but it's coming from a 5-volt source. The energy, it comes with the efficient of the LED lights. So
I guarantee you the voltage times the current coming in is higher than the voltage times the current going out.
No, because the current going on is...
Brother, it has to.
No.
If you prove that is not right, then again, you are going to be the only man to ever experience this, and you should get a prize for this. If you can tell me that statement is true, you get more power out than you
No, we don't get more power. We get transfer power.
Well, again, wait a minute, because when I said voltage times amps in is greater than voltage times amps out, what that translates to, power in is greater than power out.
No,
that's all I said.
I understand, but all I'm saying is that it's a transfer energy. I'm transferring high voltage spikes, and I'm getting pulse current out, and the pulse current is higher than what the solar panels will produce because they only
not transferring voltage, brother.
What do you mean I'm not putting voltage in it?
You're transferring energy. Energy gets transferred. Not voltage, not amps, not as individuals.
So what will
it's a power in, hold on. It is a power in, power out. That's why you cannot just say voltage, because it depends on what that amperage is. I can get high current, but a really low voltage. Power is crap.
Yeah.
Like it's a duality. You can't just say voltage. I put in a voltage and I get a current out. Yeah, that's nice, but what is your power in versus power out? I guarantee you, I will put my life on the line that you have less power coming out than you put in. So with that said, you don't lose any. The only thing you lose really is energy through the transfer, the conversion. It's always going to lose. If you show you get more power in, more power out than you put in, you deserve a prize, brother.
Okay. So here's the thing that you disconnect. If I'm rapidly putting high speed switching in this, isn't that a form of energy?
You're putting energy into the system. Yes, I'm following.
Okay, so I'm saying is if you're taking a frequency that's moving at a sonic speed, okay, and you're putting it into that MOSFET, am I going to get the same amount of current, which is shown on the solar panels, which is 1 amp, okay, 1 amp, we're rounding it off, 1 amp. Are you saying that if we're pulsing that MOSFET at sonic speed, okay, that is only going to produce 1 amp of pulse current out?
It depends.
Okay, that's all. So we at least got there. We at least got there.
But, yes, but you can also have it where it gives you more current. You can also have it where it gives you less current. That's why I said it depends. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get more power out.
I didn't say that. You keep saying that.
So why are we saying it's a monumental thing that we're getting a higher current?
We're not.
To what?
We're not. I keep saying that over and over that we're not.
You said current, voltage in, current out. MOSFET. That's how it operates.
Yes, but we're transferring voltage just like a transformer. You either step it down or you step it up. You can't have both on both ends. You're not going to have higher amps or...
Well, you can, but you would use something other than a MOSFET.
Okay, so all I'm asking is that we put high voltage in from the solar panels. The solar panels can only produce 1 amp, but it has 17 volts. It has 2 sources of 17 volts, which I show. Okay, then we put that into the MOSFET. We're turning it into pulse current. And I asked you, can we get more than the 1 amp that the solar panels is giving out? Because all we were trying to do, which we did successfully, is get our amps back so the solar panel is usable. Why did we do this? So we don't have
Why don't you just eliminate the whole thing and just get the amps from the solar panel?
Because you have to put all your solar panels on your roof, and mine's is sitting in my basement.
Hey, I'm just saying, eliminate this whole conversion thing. You get more. You'll get more.
No, you're not getting more.
Than passing it through your system. You'll get more power because you're the source.
If you want to
you don't have the current to charge the batteries. That 1 amp that comes from the thing, there's not enough current to charge the batteries. If it does,
if you want to set up an energy system in your basement, I don't think a solar panel would be the best option. A solar panel, it's meant to be outside in light.
Okay, so again, this is where we go back.
And it can work in artificial light.
My solar panels,
taking away from solar panels, which are very inefficient to begin with.
Okay,
that's the one thing you need to learn about solar panels.
Okay,
not the most efficient technology.
You can say all that. The whole point is that my system does work.
Using a solar panel, and you're the one powering the solar panel, is a waste of energy.
Okay, so I accept what you say. Again, while you saying it's a waste, the system does work. That's the whole point of it. I got the amps that it needs to charge a battery in the system, and my system sits in my basement, and it has 4 years. Okay, so the whole point is the battery chargers that run the LED lights run at 5 volts 1 amp. So even though you say it's so inefficient, okay, my energy runs 24 hours a day. It goes into my tie grid inverters, and my house is totally off the grid. So how inefficient it is, like cars that you drive, that's only 70% efficient, but you drive them anyway. It's a waste, but you don't argue about wasting that energy. We're just worried about wasting solar energy, which comes from light. So what I did is I just used the efficiency of the light. I didn't say I was producing more energy out or not. I'm just saying that we did a conversion. We did what the Mosfets were supposed to do, which you've already said several times.
Did you use a conversion based on wattage or watts?
Conversion or what?
The efficiency calculation.
No.
Did you use voltage or watts?
I didn't even worry about efficiency. That wasn't the goal.
You just said efficiency.
You said yes. I said you guys said it's not efficiency. I said I wasn't worried about being efficient. I was worried about, can I charge the 100 amp batteries that I have, and I needed to be at a certain currency. And when you put that into your charge controller, it reads as amps.
Currency.
That means, the currency coming from the MOSFET. Post currency, when it goes through your
current?
Post current from your MOSFETs.
Okay.
Is higher than what the solar panel puts out. That means that I have
Hey, Miz, are you there? I want to share something real quick while my brother's talking to
you. You talking to me?
Yeah, I was the host of the show. I was hoping he was there.
Oh.
Well, go ahead, keep going.
But the whole point is that now I have enough current to charge the batteries, the main batteries, to at a level that will keep those batteries charged. Now, if I put them outside, I only get 6 hours of light to do the same thing. If I use this conversion, I got 24 hours 7 days a week. So that's why I ran the experiment for years. Okay, from 2000 to today, that sits in my basement, and it runs my tie grids, and tie grids go and puts the electricity right back into my household. So,
hey Taz, this is a great. Are you there, Taz? Oh, Taz ain't here. My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so again, everything that you were trying to say, I'm just saying that we used the conversion, we used MOSFETs as what they were supposed to do. And that says when you rapidly put high frequency through a MOSFET, you get pulse current out, which is higher than the voltage. Is it a loss? Oh yeah, the heat loss, the what's things. But remember, I'm only using 5 volts to run both solars. I'm getting that 17 volts. I have voltage to waste.
What is your voltage on the output of that MOSFET?
It gives if I use a 20 amp MOSFET, I only pulse it to get 5 simulated amps, because I know I'm saying current.
What is the bias on that drain of the MOSFET? These are very critical numbers here.
Okay.
Because you can't drive a MOSFET without powering it on first. You actually have to put a bias on that drain and current run through the device, and that gate that you're putting the bias on actually creates a channel to turn it on and off. That's where the pulsing comes in. That's where that comes in.
Okay, so
you're pulsing a voltage to pulse to get an output pulsed current.
So
but you still have to put a bias on that drain. So you're saying how many volts on that MOSFET?
17.
17 volts on the drain. How much
power
bias are you putting on the base? On the
17.
input? So you're putting 17 volts, 17 volts. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's a lot, though, for a MOSFET, though.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot. You already talking about damaging the circuit.
Wait a minute.
MOSFETs don't need nowhere near 17 volts.
I know. You would.
They don't need nowhere near 17 volts.
Exactly. So you know you're going to break that. You're going to break it down. So that means that's called a resistor. So you know you're going to break that down. That's just 101.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
That means you're going to take the 17 volts and make sure the full 17 volts is not going to go in. It's going to just need enough voltage.
What you're talking about in terms is the threshold voltage.
Yes.
The voltage that you're going to turn that thing on. You have to have enough bias on that base in order to turn the channel on.
All I'm asking you is 17
now, 17
volts.
is rather high.
Yes.
So I don't know why you putting 17 on it, but that's just experiment. So
no, I'm again. You saying you don't know why? I'm telling you where the voltage that we have. I said we sandwiched one LED light between 2 panels. They both those panels give 17 volts apiece. So if we got 2 sources of 17 volts and we only need 12 volts, okay? So that means it has to go through a charge controller being broke down, and we have to put resistors because we got too much voltage coming from the secondary a solar panel. So again, you're making my point. The point is that we needed current, and that pulse current, MOSFETs do create pulse current, and you said yes.
Well, they don't create. The bias on the gate creates the channel. The MOSFET is reacting to the inputs that we have on it. One being bias on the drain, the other being the bias on the gate.
So
those are the 2 inputs that we have.
Do we meet the qualification?
When you put a voltage on that drain, you are already running that system at a relatively high current in itself. So you're already putting a lot of energy in.
Yes.
This is where efficiency comes in. This is exactly where efficiency comes in.
But that's again.
You can't eliminate the energy you're putting on the device and in the device.
Okay. Again, I'm a librarian.
I wish I could share this.
Wait. Because here's the thing. Everything that you're saying is correct. We're on the same page.
But we got. I don't know how many in the chat. I mean, we're losing them if we don't. We're just talking.
Okay, but I'm also asking you, did we meet the threshold of the MOSFET? You said we have more power. We have enormous amount of power putting into that. So we meet the qualifications of the MOSFET, and now we're pulsing it at high frequency, and we're getting the current to charge the batteries. Did I say that?
What are you pulsing? The gate or the drain?
We're
input.
we're pulsing the gate.
Okay.
We're pulsing the gate, and you know that the energy from the other solar panel is going into the MOSFET. That's what's being pulsed, the 17 volts. But the second panel of 17 volts, which is way more than we need, is causing it to pulse. So what I did to keep it simple is I put at the gate, I put a reed switch. I took the motor, just like in the video, and I spin the motor at high frequency with that 17 volts. That turns the MOSFET on and off. Okay? And that's how we get our pulse current to charge our batteries.
When you do the calculations of how much energy you're putting in versus how much you're actually getting out, you would do a lot better just eliminating that whole system, brother.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed you to say. Because that is a super inefficient way. And guess
you
what?
You only do that kind of conversion unless you have to.
But guess what? I've been doing it for years, and I don't have a bit. I'm not
saying it doesn't work. It works. I get it. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works. Yes. I'm not disagreeing with that. I am not disagreeing with that. I'm saying you're introducing a lot of pieces that are unnecessary, to be honest. If you're talking about efficiency.
Okay, no, we're not talking about efficiency. We're not.
Better off coming straight off the
Listen,
panel.
we're not talking about efficiency. What we did is I did an experiment. The experiment works, and then the whole point is I'm giving it to people to make it more efficiency that knows more than I did. I'm just telling.
That's what we're discussing.
Yes, but the whole point is that every video that I put out, I say the exact same thing as what you're saying. This system works, but it's very inefficient. The whole point is that it's been running in my household for years.
You pay for a lot of electricity.
I don't pay for any electricity. It's only 5 volts that charge it.
I didn't say just monetarily. I didn't say monetarily. It could be other forms. Meaning, like I said, the inefficiency is yeah. I hear you. I'm not debating whether or not it works. I'm telling you, it does work.
Now, let me go back to this point.
What you're explaining is like putting yourself in a car, put that car on a truck, and then drive the truck.
Okay, now
you just drove the car.
Now, how do
that's what it sounds like. You're adding pieces that are hurting you more than anything, as far as
and
the amount of energy you're actually using.
I'm agreeing with you. That's the point. Now, well, going back to what I did when I put this on YouTube. Okay, this is what Maxwell is doing. That was how all this got blown up in me on YouTube and talking to you. You wouldn't even know me because people didn't even come to my channel. I had the highest level of people ever at my channel, all because I told a guy named Webb that I know what he's doing with those MOSFETs. So when I explained the MOSFETs and how inefficient that it just blown up. Now you just confirmed everything I told them.
Not necessarily, but I'm listening. Because I think we're speaking different approaches here.
I think you're saying the same thing. The system is inefficient.
I don't think you've created anything that's unique, which you said you didn't.
Thank you.
I don't think you've created anything that's useful because there's way more efficient ways to do it.
Okay, so you go with efficiency.
Well, again, if we're not talking efficiency, if you're repeating the technology, but it's worse than what we already have, then why are we talking about it?
Because you drive cars. There's very inefficiency. And there's other efficiency that we could be driving, but you drive an inefficient thing and you don't complain about it. You only complain about it when it's green energy. So if it's green energy and you waste the energy, you have a problem with it. But if it's polluting energy, you don't have a problem with it.
I don't know where you went with that one.
Cars are very inefficient. Cars are very inefficient.
Cars have been developed, ever since cars have been invented, people work tirelessly to make cars more efficient.
But they're not.
Continue to. Yes, cars are way more efficient
Relative,
now
they are
than they were
extremely
20 years
efficient.
ago.
Yes, they are, but they're still inefficient.
Relative to older cars, they are extremely efficient, and that
70%.
right?
Cars today are only 70% efficient.
Hold on, because you run into real world scenarios when you bring up these type systems. There's losses in the systems that's inherent to the system. So you're going to have to overcome as much as you can. You're not going to overcome all of it. If that's the expectation, again, you're talking about a utopia.
You're making my point.
Of that nature.
You're making my point.
Is the engine more efficient than what it was 40 years ago? Hell yeah.
40% to 70. 40% to 70%.
25 years ago, how much horsepower?
40% to 70%.
The efficiency goes up.
Yes.
The efficiency goes up.
Yes, but 70% is bad.
In ideal world, you want 100% conversion.
And there's no system that does that.
Dude.
Correct. Right. So why are you saying it's inefficient? Relative to what?
You got cylinder cars.
70% is bad when you're talking about efficiency.
The P8 and the P12 was doing 10 years ago.
Yes.
Well, four-cylinder. Yes, that's a great example.
The engine became smaller, but
yes.
output became larger. That's efficiency, bro.
Yep.
You don't have to go through a bunch of steps and put no mop here and this there and two.
So again, wait a minute. You're missing the point there. So first of all, you have something that works. It's inefficient. So you work on it and you create it. If you put the energy in it like they put into the car, we can now have a green energy that doesn't pollute it because we're working on the problem. So what you do is you're throwing it out before you even.
The more complicated you make a thing, is the less efficient it is. And what I mean by complication is all the different energy transfer that's taking place within your system. You should try to make that less. If you're getting energy, say you're using solar energy, if you could just transfer that solar energy into electricity, and if you could work on the heat as a byproduct and try to utilize the heat, even to turn a little turbine and get some more electricity, that would be like working on efficiency. But to transfer solar into electricity, then back into mechanical energy, then back into a magnetic field that's gonna generate new electricity, back into solar, that's a sign of complication and inefficiency. Okay,
and now you heard me say the same thing. So all my videos were saying the same thing. So the whole point is we go back to the point. It does work. It's inefficient. But when you put energy and time to make it more efficient, that's what everybody's arguing. They're saying
we already have systems that are more efficient. Is the point?
Like cars.
No. Don't try and pigeonhole me. What I'm telling you is, your system is going backwards. You've decreased efficiency with your system. This is why I keep saying you'll have a better efficiency rate if you eliminate all that other conversion stuff and come right off the panels. You'll have a way higher efficiency. Well,
no, you don't, because you don't have.
It'll be higher.
You don't have more efficiency because you're losing all that power at nighttime. Your panels don't even work.
Wait. Walk with me. Whether you introduce your system or straight from the panels, you're going to lose that anyway. So that's a 1-to-1. That's a wash. There's no gain nor loss because you changed the system. Your input power from the sun is going to be the same. So you can eliminate that as a way of increasing efficiency. It's going to be exactly the same input power to those panels.
Okay, so now let me answer that argument.
Now you want to introduce other components.
Wait a minute.
Energy,
you're saying the same thing. So let me answer the question. Let me answer that question. Okay, because we still agree.
Did I ask one? I'm sorry.
No. We are agreeing. So I'm saying you made a rebuttal. I want to get so. My inefficiency charges my batteries 24 hours a day, even though it's inefficiency. So I put that energy into my tie grid, which runs my house, even though it's inefficiency, and my batteries never go dead, even though it's inefficiency. Okay? So again, I've been doing that for years. So I'm asking
What if I told you can run 5 more houses if you just eliminated your system?
I don't want to run 5 more houses. That's not the point.
See, now that's selective.
No, wait a minute. It is selective because
the reason why I asked that question is because I'm asking you how important is the actual power coming out of your system. You're saying it doesn't matter. Then what are you offering to people then?
Let me make the point. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm asking you, the point if I'm running my house and I'm totally off the grid, that means I get no outside energy coming into my house. I'm running my house solely on the energy that's in my house, and the solar panels are in my house. That means I'm not taking any energy from the grid at all. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, we know that works.
Where am I losing? Because my energy bills, which went down, and I put them on my YouTube channel, look at my energy bills. Where am I losing?
Do you understand? You're pitching an idea to the masses that do not live at your address. Why would it be important to me? You're telling me why it's important to you to not care about efficiency. But what if I got a house 5 times bigger than you? Now we're talking about more energy. Now we're talking efficiency. So I'm asking you, what are you offering to the people?
I build a bigger system. They can run the bigger house.
Works. Well, we got that already. That's my point. We already have that. What is the wow? What is the... Here you go. Like, y'all not thinking about this.
Okay.
What is it?
Now,
I'm still waiting for that part.
Okay, so let me ground this out again. Because, I'm a librarian. A librarian who worked with this, okay, run the system, and then I told people exactly what you're telling me. Now you have people calling me saying that they can work with that and make this system more efficient. So the whole point is, you're arguing the fact this is inefficient, just throw it out. Just get rid of it, stop.
No, I'm asking, what are you offering as a pitch?
I'm not offering anything. I'm telling you the exact same thing as you saying.
The conversation was, again, am I wrong for expecting a wow moment? Am I wrong for this?
Yes. You are wrong for that because you heard me from the very beginning that said this is nothing new. That I'm amazed that everybody keeps jumping on this, thinking it's new. That they think Maxwell thing has something new, and he's using the same energy thing. And I told him all about the inefficiencies.
He's expecting something productive.
Yeah, something we can actually like ponder and like, okay. That there's a benefit there outside of your address. There's a benefit to what he's talking about.
Okay.
That's what I was expecting.
Okay,
So,
but I kept saying that I don't have that expertise. But people who are calling me say they do. That's all I'm saying.
I'm lost on the details, I guess.
I know.
I'll chalk it up to that.
Okay.
How is it? Oh man, I get the 24-hour charging ability, and I'm guessing you need 24-hour charging because your charging is so slow. While if you got a solar panel set up, just a regular solar panel set up with adequate batteries, those batteries get charged in like 4 to 6 hours, fully charged and able to sustain you for the next 12 hours, which means all night, and get recharged in the morning.
Yes.
And most people, that's a more efficient system and even a more reliable system, because the reason why you need the batteries to charge fast, because if you have a lot of stuff that's pulling the power from the system,
now
you're gonna need that system replenished as quick as possible.
Now
based on what you're saying, and I can tell you this, and I'm just using basic maths. Based on what you're saying, your charging ability is really slow. You don't get a full charge over.
Yes, I do.
So
Yes. No. Yes, I do. So
let me ask, how long does it take you to get a full charge?
3 hours.
What capacity of your battery?
3 hours. And here's the second point. Here, wait a minute. So we're about to get into a big doozy again, okay? Because I know what you're going to say, but let me finish.
Doesn't matter, man.
Let me finish before you jump into my case. I use a system which I create, and I wrote books on this, called over unity. Okay? Over unity is not more power out than in. The word over and the word unity in the dictionary is how I use the word as the compound word to make my definition when I created when I was 14. It means that a bucket brigade is over unity. It means I hooked up my battery systems with a relay, and when 1% of the energy drained from the battery using my system, it switches over to the fresh battery that's fully charged. And it cycles through all the batteries until that first battery is fully charged. And then it cycles through all the batteries doing that. And I called that over unity. Then everybody changed the definition and said it's more power out than in. This is perpetual motion. And I said that's not in the dictionary, and that's not how I'm using it. I'm using this to pass over to a fresh battery, so my system only has to charge one of my batteries in my system at a time. The whole system only has to charge one battery, and because the relay goes to the next battery and the next battery, I now am working on what he was saying earlier, time. And I put time in the equation, and I wrote a paper with all the equations, which I can share with you, so you can look at that and say it works or it don't work. But many people who have looked at it says, yes, this works and it's possible, and my equations are right.
While he's talking, can you share my screen real quick, bro?
Okay, so you can tear it apart.
No, you explain yourself. You're using a lot of batteries, so you make up for it, bro. Something have to give. That's all we know. We're not saying your system doesn't work. We're just saying like the math says it's not very efficient.
Yes, and I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing.
Here's the reason why I'm stuck on this screen. This is your video.
Yes.
And this is the reason why I was stuck on this screen. I want you to listen to how excited you are on the 5 amp thing, and this is because I want to put it in context. This is what I heard.
You have to ask, how do we go from 5 amps? How does this work? It's old technology. Let's go on.
So, before Joe, what you came up with, why is it important that you went from 1 amp to 5 amp?
Because when you're charging your battery, we're talking about the speed of charging the batteries. If you have less current, you charge the battery slower. If you have more current, once I put that 5 amps, which is basically pulse current, into your charge controller, it shows up as amps, because that's what pulse current do. Why? Because households use pulse current. That means when it comes to the transformer, you're not only working with amps, you're working with pulse current. But yet you have 20 amps at your wall plug. But that's pulse current. But we all call it amps. This is why it's so confusing.
I think it's confusing because you're using the terms interchangeably. And I can't find it now. Oh wait, is this it?
Do you know the U.S. solar company's nasty little secret?
Look at the commercial.
It turns out if you live in Maryland, they have to give you solar panels for absolutely
Hold on. This is your video. Hold on.
This
I saw one where you actually had
is a in your LUT. Frequency amps actually works.
I don't know where it is now. Sorry, but I know you had something here where you were showing voltage in and voltage out, current in and current out. And I wanted you to look at the numbers, because there was a step up in voltage. Was it this video?
I'm not sure, because I do a lot of videos, and I make a lot of products. But like I said, I know this system is. I
just wanted to show the math behind it of where I'm tripping at, where I'm actually tripping at.
Yes.
It's not making sense to me.
And
maybe it's your other video.
I just don't understand when I tell you that we agree and that the system is inefficient. Okay? But I'm running the system. The whole point is that when you take something and you work on it, it becomes more efficient. And that's why I use the example of the car. The car was inefficient at 40%, 20%, and then over the years, we made it 70%. 70% of anything is still bad. But we got cars that work at 72%.
That's a strong statement there, brother.
It is. It is bad.
That's relative to what? 100%?
No, compared to 80% and 85% is where you want to be at, not 70%.
I had it. Again, that's relative. That's relative. I can't find it, people. I'm sorry. I had it set up too. I'll find something else. Yeah, so that's relative. When you say 70% is bad, relative to what? Everything's in relation to. Everything's relative to something else, some reference point. If we're talking baseball, is 70% of that good? That's excellent.
No.
That's excellent.
No.
Do you know what the average batting percentage is, bro? Do you know?
85%.
Are you out of your damn mind?
I guess I am.
I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm sorry, brother. But the point is, 30% is good. It depends on what you're talking about. So when you're talking about cars, 70% for a machine that is able to turn on, it can turn on and run and operate in the coldest temperatures, the hottest temperatures, the amount of system.
Well, my system,
the computer. You're talking. Doesn't drag the car. Back in the 70s, everything felt like you were driving a tank because they were made out of such heavy metals. Now we're using materials that are not great with crashing, but it's efficient to make a car and drive. And the efficiency goes up.
But my efficiency to my system is at 30%. So you just said it's good.
We get better with that too.
But
cast iron cars, like an accident back then used to be fatal because the car itself, the chassis.
You guys are making my point.
Hell, the seatbelts was introduced. That helps.
Right. You guys are making my point.
So, like when you say 70% ain't SHID, like whoa.
But you said 30% is good.
What system do you know in the car industry that's operating higher than what we have right now?
30% for a car is pretty efficient still.
Okay, but my solar system is 30%. My solar system in my house is 30%. And now you're saying that's bad, but the car is good.
It's a fiberglass, steel, and rubber. Come on, bro.
So why were you saying the car is good, efficient, but the solar system that works on the same efficiency is bad?
What are you going to get? 25%, maybe?
No, I'm getting over 30% of my solar system.
The material used to build that solar panel, like it's not going to be in the 90s.
No.
That's like you're getting all the energy from the sun, like 90%. That's amazing. You're not getting that with no solar panel. But because you're talking about sun that's always out and you don't control it and it's there and you collect. So if you get 10% of the sun, that's more than yesterday. So that's always a plus to the system. That's converting energy that would have been wasted anyway.
Yes.
So but that's different though, to bypass that and know a off-grid system that is not independent but is actually dependent on whatever source of batteries you're using to charge that system up. I think it would be better if you just do the regular solar panel like everyone else.
But wait a minute, but you don't know, you fully don't understand. You don't understand my battery system.
Don't take it personal, bro.
No, I'm saying he doesn't understand the battery system. He's saying the battery thing.
His connection might have dropped. My bad. Yeah, I'm trying to do three things at once.
He keeps saying he's a librarian. Does he mean like he works inside of a library, or is he from like?
No, Liberian. I thought it was Liberian.
Liberian. Library. It's a library. I own a library. Yes, I own a library. I own a library. My company's called.
Yeah. You're missing the R in there, brother.
Yo.
I'm missing the R in library.
Berry?
Yes. It's library. I thought you were saying you were a Liberian or something. I didn't know what that was.
I gotta ask because I was a bit confused. And is he in Africa or
is he library?
So it's my accent. It's my accent you got a problem with.
I'm pretty sure other people are thinking, oh, he's from Africa.
No.
That's what I thought.
No, I own a company. It's called Media Library. Sorry about the accent. Yes. I've been saying that all through the whole thing.
We assumed you meant Liberia. Yeah, we assumed the wrong thing. That's all.
I'm from Arkansas. I'm born and raised in Arkansas. I'm an older guy, man, and we knew what they meant when they said berry. But my mother is a retired English teacher, and if she ever heard me, even grown as I am to this day, it would not go over well if I said.
You came in the house in library.
Library.
Yeah. That's all. It's just a confusion in what.
Well, I commend you guys for speaking the King's English very, very well.
Oh damn! Here we go. That white man's college.
You made up your own, or did the black people get together and say, we're just gonna call it berry?
No.
I speak Patois. I speak Jamaican Patois, and I thought you said you were from Liberia.
No.
Because I thought you said you were like a Liberian.
No.
That's what I thought. Me and my English.
Yeah, when you say, "Oh, I'm a Liberian," I'm like, okay, he's from Africa. Cool.
No.
He's another.
I'm not from Africa.
Cool.
I'm from the United States.
Okay.
And like I said,
I ain't gonna lie, yo, this actually hurts your argument, bro. Now that I know this, man, this is hurting me a little bit now.
Okay. But see, you got to understand. Look, you guys got to understand. You already confirmed everything I've been saying on every one of my videos, and I'm happy with that. You're confirming everything that I said in my videos. So nothing I said was incorrect.
Well, I didn't say it was incorrect.
I'm not an electrician. I'm not a professional.
On changing the current from a low number
that's okay.
to a high number. That's how can I say that?
Everything that you're saying, I keep saying the same thing.
It's already in the sciences.
Yes, and I said that too.
So I thought we were waiting for a wow moment, and I guess I was wrong.
The wow moment I kept trying to tell you is other parts of the system when we were only talking about one part. So while you were tearing me down in the one part, you don't understand the whole system because it works in unison. So if you got a system like the batteries and they say, oh, you got too many batteries. Okay, we know this. But this is how the system works. You keep saying the system works, but now it runs inefficiently. I keep saying that I work where it has a lot of books, and I'm not an electrician. I'm just a person who tinkers with these. I don't understand as much as you guys. That's why I called you professionals. But the simple thing is when I put that on YouTube and it said these things as facts, I have people calling me from other countries saying we want that system because we can improve on it.
Are they asking, you know what, by any means, I'm sorry, you had a question that you wanted me to ask this brother. Why are they calling you? Like, even though they may be calling you, they may be interested like we are. Like, what is he talking about?
Because the videos, all I did was explain what Maxwell did in his system and how he was able to use his systems with the MOSFET. He's doing the same thing. And that's the reason why I believe that he's not putting out his system, because one, the MOSFETs are not very good to do that. And second, we will all find out that he's using someone else's technology that's old. It's known, and which I've been saying in all the videos. But they keep, they've given all the raise to this guy who's saying he's getting energy from radio waves and converting them into things. And I says, dude, he's using the battery and then he's using the MOSFET to charge the batteries. I use that in my own system. So when I explained it, and then I had AI explain it, then I had another AI explain it, then because that went viral, all these people are calling me. Because I explained what he did, and it actually works. But it doesn't work well.
Again, I'm not shooting down the idea of what you're saying. I think the audience that you're again, maybe it was the way it was pitched to the panel. I'm going to put that on Wale, damn it. I was literally waiting for the wow moment because it was like, hey, let's hear this brother out. He has some innovative ways of thinking. He has, just hear him out. That was the purpose of all of this.
But then did you keep?
Then at the end, it was like
put the blame on the nigga.
But you kept not listening to me when I kept saying that it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's nothing new.
Well, see, again, that's what I'm saying. If it's nothing new, we have a full understanding, well, as best as I know.
But the only reason why I'm on your show is because the hype of this guy called Maxwell. And all I did is explain what he did.
I'm not tripping on who came up with it. I'm saying the idea of a spike in the system. You're saying to use it. I still haven't seen your way of using it.
Okay.
I hear you say we can use it. I just don't know. That's what I'm waiting on. The wow of, we never tried using it like that. We can try that.
Let me explain something. Is this thing on? I have a transformer. This is a half-wave transformer. The one I have, I bought it, I think by mistake, I should have checked. It's a half-wave transformer. It only uses half of the wave. Just like he was saying about using the spike.
Yes, you can design that with an inductor and a couple diodes.
Yeah, la-di-da, but meanwhile, it's possible to use the spike just like it's possible to use the half wave.
He hasn't proven that, Wale.
Yeah, man, he has. He's saying he's doing
He hasn't proven that, Wale. That's what I'm saying. He said it exists. Don't get mad. This is the information being... We're talking about it. What else you want to do?
No, I'm not mad. I'm not just gonna argue with you about something the man said he proves every day at his home. I don't have time for that.
Again, where's the proof?
Nikola Tesla's patent. That's the proof.
No. He said you proved it at your house.
Wait a minute.
I want to know what the proof is.
Well, hold on. You saying you want somebody to prove it, but then you overtalk them before they can even answer your question. The whole point is that
Nikolai, and he's in your backyard.
Let me answer the question.
Are you crediting yourself for the one that completes Tesla's work?
No.
So how is Nikola Tesla patent proves your work?
Okay, so let me answer the question. In his patent, he uses a half wave. He takes the radio wave from a jewel ringer. He puts it into what do you call it when you have energy only going one way? Because it's skipping me. Is two not bridge rectifier. What do you call this?
Diodes, man.
Diode. Thank you, bro. So he takes two diodes and he connects them together. This means that the energy that's going in here can only use one side. That is in his patent 100 years ago. Okay? It is also in his tower. So all those towers that sends these spikes out, which are just voltage spikes, and everybody saying, ooh, look at the spikes, they use the halfway again. So when I brought up these subjects, that this is Nikola Tesla's work because, again, he made something before they had MOSFETs and all these things. He used motors and these half bridge, and they worked 100 years ago. I says, why don't we take this technology and work on it as much as we work on things like the car? But they don't want green energy. They want polluting energy because it makes them money. So of course you're not going to work on something.
Yeah, you're just speculating, bro. Because you could.
We are, because we're arguing the points as you saying throw the whole system out because it's inefficient.
About green energy.
Yes, you saying it's totally inefficient. Just stop using it.
So how are you saying that they don't want green energy when, like, majority of their budget?
Do you know how long it took the solar panel to even get on the market? They had the solar panel in the 1800s. Okay? They resisted that for long periods of time, and they kept saying it's inefficient, and then all of a sudden, as people started working on it, it kept getting more and more efficient.
Yeah, because without the batteries, what is a solar panel? What are you going to do with a solar panel if you don't have the batteries to store the charge? How would that be more efficient than the regular grid that we have, that we could use 24 hours?
Because my system.
Why would they try to push solar panel before they develop batteries to charge?
My system only charges my batteries when the
power. You're under my tip. That's what.
See, that's one of the reasons why you don't never understand what I'm saying.
You won't let the man finish a sentence?
Right.
What the hell is wrong with you? You sound like a crazy man.
All I'm trying to explain is my system only uses the batteries.
I know you're gonna defend your boy.
Right. It only uses the batteries if as a backup, because the system that I have goes into my tie grid. Okay, so if my tie grids, the energy never fails. It is running 24 hours a day, and it's enough energy to go through my tie grids, and that energy goes to AC, because that's what a tie grid does, and runs my house. Then the batteries itself are only there for backup because I have constant energy, even though it runs inefficiently. So again, me not being experienced, knowing and telling people the system is very inefficient, but it works, and this works because Nikola Tesla's work that I've been duplicating makes the system work. But Nikola Tesla's system was inefficient too. It's 100 years old. It's very inefficient. We have adapted that and work with that to make it efficient.
I think Nikola Tesla is the new Egypt. Like, every pseudo has this thing with Nikola Tesla. Not that you're a pseudo, but it's a name that keep coming up on the wrong side every.
So do you believe I'm using it on the wrong side?
Nikola Tesla.
Do you think I'm using it on the wrong side?
Yeah.
Okay. So see, I don't argue with you on that. I listened to you. What's name? You said I'm using it on the wrong side because I used his patent and I duplicated what he did in the patent. I'm using that on the wrong side. So I just wanted to clarify how you're saying that I'm using it on the wrong side, even though I tell people, hey, this system is inefficient, but I copied his work.
If you're just doing it to prove that it works,
yes,
then kudos to you. We already knew that it works. It's like the flat earthers flying to Antarctica to see the sun in its 24-hour rotation. Kudos to them. We already knew it happened.
But now,
it's like you're proving something to the world that the world already knew.
Now, what you're doing,
inventors that are solving problems.
What you're doing is
inventors that create problem then solve it.
You're making me more popular because all this extended from the same thing you just said is what I said out on all these systems. I was like, boom. They act like they've never heard of MOSFETs doing this. This is what they're having a problem with, that MOSFETs don't do what MOSFETs do. So every time that you're disagreeing with me and then you agree with me, you're making me more famous because I kept telling you all through this whole course that I agree everything you're saying and that we're saying the same thing. You're looking for a wild system, but I'm not telling you that it is a wild system because the simple fact was I had already said in many videos that this system is old and Maxwell is using an old inefficient system. which he's trying to sell for $10,000. That's how all this occurred. You wouldn't have even known me if it wasn't the hype that everybody was talking about just because I explained what you just explained.
Now, you got to give that credit to Wale. We wouldn't have even known you if Wale did not introduce you to this community. So come on.
Okay.
Get follow yourself.
That's 100% fact there, bro.
I want to say thank you, Lloyd, for coming up because I had told them about
time,
you,
bro.
and I appreciate you coming up, man. I really do, and your patience and everything, and your endurance to go through all that grilling and stuff.
Right.
I figured you were a strong guy when I heard you on the phone.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you doing that, and keep on, man. Keep on keeping on. Wait a minute, Lloyd. Let me finish, dude. Lloyd, I am actually fully solar. I am actually fully solar myself. All I deal with is solar. I've been on solar for 3 years, for the past 3 years. I went through it with these guys, and they were like, "Oh, why are you stupid? You this and that." And now I'm fully solar. I got my whole thing running.
How would you stupid for using solar?
No one called you stupid for using solar.
Yeah, whatever. But whatever. Meanwhile, I'm talking to you to say to you simple. That I'm glad that you're willing to persevere your curiosity and your goal. I really appreciate that, man, and I want to respect you.
Thank you.
Hey, Lloyd.
How large is the setup, though? I'm curious. How large is the setup? Is it takes up like the whole basement or something?
No. Matter of fact, again, if you watch the video, I show the whole system. See, I put it out there free because I kept saying that if someone takes this technology and improve it, we have something. The whole point is that I'm showing that I've been using this for 8 years now, or it's been a little bit longer than 8 years.
Yeah, people will use it because not everyone cares about efficiency. People will use it, especially people who are trying to do stuff discreet. Like, you got people who are still trying to grow weed in their basement and shit. They need that power source. People will use it,
bro. What are we talking about using?
His setup, his solar panel in the basement.
Okay, this is why I asked. Well, how is it good for the masses?
It's not. I didn't say it was. I'm saying what I've done. Why are you trying to go to the masses?
That's my question to a man. That's why I was asking a man. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the dude in parole, ankle bracelet, still wants to grow weed in the basement. He can't come outside, so you got to think like Lloyd. Do the solar panel in the basement. You could still have your...
Put a solar... Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Hold on. We're talking about putting a solar panel in the basement and driving it with fake light?
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about.
Hold on. Do you have any idea how much energy you're creating? Oh my God, this is even worse.
That's the whole setup, though. It's 2 solar panels in the basement powering a bunch of batteries.
Hold on, you know how much electricity
powers the house. That's what I'm saying. Why not put the solar panel outside with the rest of solar panels?
So
what the hell?
So wait a minute.
What's driving the lamps?
You're telling me
what's driving the lamps?
Stop. Let me answer the questions, okay? One at a time.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
So we've been on this phone all this time. I've been saying this over and over again, okay? So you just now figure out that I said I've been driving this thing with LED lights. Second of all, I said go to the YouTube channels and scroll through them, but you were scrolling through my videos to find arguments to stop me instead of looking at, hey, what's this thing all lit up in your basement?
Nah, bro, that's you being disingenuous, bro. I didn't do that, man. I don't have the time to be on a panel talking and watching a 24-minute video.
But what you did, you said you seen in my video that I was talking about voltage and you were scrolling through my videos. So all I asked you to do is the same thing.
You lost your audience, at least the technical side of things. You lost your audience.
I wasn't trying to look for an audience.
Yo, Lloyd, seriously though.
I'm not looking for an audience.
For like inmates, like if you're in locked up, you still want current, you still want to grow your weed, you want to barbecue your chicken, you want to run that hot plate. It's a good, I'm saying, people who want to live that discreet life and still want to have a independent energy source, it might be good for them. Like, you can't leave the house kind of vibes, or you can't leave the jail kind of vibes, or you're stuck in a cave kind of vibes.
Is Lloyd on house arrest?
You guys is
Damn, identity. When you guys so ruthless.
really
I'm just playing, man.
the whole thing
I want Lloyd
is
to come back, man.
yeah, the whole thing is I don't mind coming back, but please just look at what I'm doing and how long I've been doing it. And then if you do the research of what I'm doing, even though you disagree with it, even though it may be inefficient, which I've told you all this time, the whole point is I'm using the system. So what I'm saying is, if you say it's good if it's just you, because you keep trying to take it out to the world. I didn't want an audience. I did this, man, because I was studying Nikola Tesla's work, and I was copying his patents, and I was just talking about these things. And then when I happened to see another person's video, I said, hey, he's using Nikola Tesla's patent, and then it went viral. So everybody's talking about it. They've made all these videos on me, and I kept saying, dude, this is inefficient. It's inefficient. And now that's how we got here.
real quick, because maybe you don't. You're not familiar with the channel, are you? I don't know if you are.
I'm not familiar with the channel.
So over here, this is a STEM channel. We talk a lot about science every now and again. A lot of other stuff too. But when we get into the science stuff, we try to be as thorough as we can. It's not just to attack you. It's more to understand. We gave you the floor. We definitely gave you the floor. We've been talking about this for almost 2 hours.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm not a fan of being just critical for the sake of being critical. I'd like to have the conversation. And where the disconnect happens, I want to bring it out, because if I'm lost, then the conversation is like, well, will you please explain it to me in a different way? I don't know what you're saying.
But you were lost on the point. You were lost on the point that I was using LED lights.
No, hold on. I was not lost on the LED lights. I was lost on the fact that you kept using voltage as what's being transferred into current. That's where I was lost, because you don't transfer voltage. You transfer the energy. That's not the same thing as voltage.
Okay.
That's where I got the disconnect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I told you that I'm not a technician. I'm a person who tinkers with stuff, redo things to try to explain it to people who really don't have any idea about it. So I said, if I start working on these things, I can understand them better. So that's all I do, is this private research for my private librarian, or library, as you say. But the whole point is that I did this for experimental purposes. But when you explain what someone else is trying to do because he's trying to make a fast buck, and you expose that, it went viral. It went viral, and I haven't changed my stance on what I said. We both agree on exactly what this MOSFETs do in the system that I work. We all agree on that. So the whole point was,
respectfully, I don't have, like I said, this is my space, and I don't expect everybody to know all this stuff, but I don't do this as a hobby. I do this as a career, so that it's not me just shooting in the dark. I do this. I build MOSFETs. I build amplifiers. I build circuits, systems, efficiency. I know the nuances of just what that MOSFET can do. Metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. That's what MOSFET means. And that just means you put a bias on the gate and the drain current increases because there's a charge carrier current that's in the middle of the device. It heats up because there's resistance on that line. That's inefficient. Your voltage on the drain, and you're grounding the source. All of these things. I know the science of it, not just theoretically, but actually using it, implementing it, and optimizing it. So when you talk about using that spike, And I'm saying to you, I know that spike very well because it's a problem in RF design. It is a problem because it rings within the system, and certain components fail when that ring hits it. So you got to be able to filter it. How do you filter it? You better know the frequency, you better know the amplitude, you better know how to use it. Do you use shunt capacitance? Do you do parasitic capacitance? Increase, decrease that? CDS, CGS, all those things, they play a major role in all of that to eliminate that. Because technically, in how we design, it's useless and damaging. And that's why we don't use it, because in order to use it, you got to have a system large enough to even sustain that large voltage pulse. It's a large value. That's why it's damaging. And that's why you want to make sure it doesn't get near your system. So when you're talking small electronics, electrostatics destroy small electronics.
Unless you use,
just a known fact.
Unless you use the halfway, the halfway signal that I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he brought up. And that's why I said when I showed the patent, Nikola Tesla, he uses a halfway and he uses the dial to rectify it and into a halfway. So again, what you're saying...
Why does that make it relevant?
Because that means he's filtered the spikes. That's what makes it relevant.
That doesn't filter the spikes. You only cut the signal by half. You didn't filter the spikes.
Okay, so you disagree, but that's what he did. That's how he filtered the spikes.
Yeah, that's not filtering the spike, though. Filtering the spike... Hey, Dev, show this real quick.
I know you're trying to eliminate the spike. He wasn't trying to eliminate the spike.
I want to make sure we're talking the same language here, because this is where a conversation can go left real quick. Are you there, Dev, or Ms.? Can anybody share that real quick? I'll show you the difference between the actual signal and a spike, and what it means as full versus half wave. So here's a sine wave, right? You see the sine wave? It's going up and down, right?
Yes. And he posted a link so we can see the video too to relate.
Yeah, we did that like 2 hours ago. We can do it again. It's cool. I think it's in the back chat. Maybe while I put it in the back chat, I'm not sure, but we can get that. So when you say spike, do you see that little peak right there on that sine wave? Mm-hmm. This is a sine wave, right? Right. That spike right there is what you say is useful, right?
Yes.
And what you're saying, half wave. Half wave just means take everything above zero as your signal. Here, then it goes to zero, then it goes up again, and goes to zero. That's a half wave. That doesn't change the spike. That just changes your input signal. The spike itself is a problem. It is a problem because one, usually it's not predictable. Only on the transient input you can see it. But it causes problems because it starts rippling in your system, and there are extremely sensitive devices that can really get damaged because of that.
Right.
That's why we get rid of it.
Yes.
But half amplitude, full amplitude, or full rectified, that doesn't matter. That introducing a half wave, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't help you or hurt you. It's just half wave.
Yeah.
You know. Does that make sense? Like the whole above zero?
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that...
Okay, I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, when you're looking at Nikola Tesla's patents, and you look at the structure in which he did, you'll see that he's taking a jewel ringer, okay? And the jewel ringer is putting it into another, I would say, coil. That coil has two diodes that's facing each other, so you only get one side of the phase. So that's what I said. You only get one side of the phase. That means he has a center tap in his patent. So he's getting the spike because he's purposely making the spike using the jewel ringer. Okay? So when you get the second part of it, it starts to make current. And then he puts the two systems together, the voltage times the current. So that's what's explained in Nikola Tesla's patent. But like I said, if you're listening to what I'm saying, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I'm just following his work. So if you're not following his work, and you can't explain it from his work, what he's doing, then yeah, we're going to have a disconnect, because again, what he's doing is purposely putting these large spikes into his system. And he's calling it amplification. But remember, this is 100 years old. So we have to decipher from the day's technology to what he was explaining back then. And I think that's the disconnect, because people's like, look, he was a good thing, but his stuff really didn't work. The Wardenclyffe wouldn't have worked. And I think that's a misnomer if we all just sit down and start to understand people's fault in language, or not saying something properly or correctly. If we get past that and say, okay, what is he trying to say, and looking at the work and then explaining it from there, I think we'll go much, much further. Otherwise, it's just a fight uphill trying to explain something that is already old and proven, like you said. But did we miss something, or did we not miss something? It was the point. And I was making those points in a video to someone else that was in Africa. And that's what I kept saying. It went viral. And that's how...
Yeah, I don't think we missed the point. I think our disconnect, and just based on everything we just said for the last 2 hours, I think our disconnect is understanding energy in the system versus external system to the system. When you introduce that spike that you call it, that pulse, you're putting energy in. And then you want to capture that energy on the back end. You're going to have less energy on the back end than what you put in to create that spike.
Yes.
It's all energy. It's all energy. That's why I don't usually speak at voltage and current levels, because that's when you're talking about energy propagation, that's waves, that's particle movement, you're talking energy, power, watts, not volts, not amps individually, collectively. So it matters what voltage and amperage we're talking in, and it matters what voltage and amperage we're talking out. But that's just DC. Now you want to introduce radio frequency. Now efficiency comes into play even more, because it's a comparison of your DC in versus your AC out. Like it's even more inefficient. That's the word. It's even more inefficient now, because now you're taking a fraction of what you already lost, add that to the system of losses, and now we're even more down the line of losing energy. I don't understand the purpose in following that.
Okay.
We already have systems that are already efficient. Why would we introduce more stuff to make it more inefficient to learn something? That's where I'm lost. I
got a question. Did it I didn't see it, so there's no video in the back chat. Did it work?
Yes.
Right, so the point that I'm making is, when I built drones when I first started building drones, bro, I didn't know the name. I didn't know about voltage, regulation, none of that. I didn't know. I made a lot of mistakes, burned some shit up and everything before I even knew what the shit did. I just followed instructions, right? So then I start learning after I followed the instructions why such and such works and why this is doing that, and it gave me the capacity to build even greater things and add things like severals to my joints and all of that, right? So not all the time. Sometimes things just work because of the way the setup of it, but you don't necessarily gotta know how it works and the name of the things to make it work. You agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I'm not actually challenging him on just the terminology. It's more so when you're talking about introducing it. Let's say you're pitching drones, and your drone is worse off than 90% of the stuff that's already out. You gotta now convince me to even listen to you, because I already got stuff out here that's like, we got that, and that. What are you telling me? Why should I pay attention to what you're saying? Is there something in here that we can learn from together? So that's where the conversation is.
Application to my drone to see if I can get more efficient time, even if it's just 1 minute more. It's better than what I'm getting.
But But is it better than what we already have?
Well, there's nothing. I mean, I'm talking about just for what I'm doing, drones and remote cars and shit like that. Can we have more battery life by using solar power even over a short period of time? I just wanted to know. That's why I'm interested in his application.
Yeah, see, and from my standpoint, it looks like he's going backwards in efficiency.
Yes.
Adding more components to the system. He's converting solar panels to mechanical energy from a motor to magnetic field transfer, then back to electrical, and then output.
But it works.
You could have. Yes, it works. But what I'm see again, you want me to throw away the word efficiency?
Are you wasting more energy going in? I mean, are you losing more energy going in than what you outputting?
Yes.
No, you're not understanding, bro. You're not understanding. You're gonna have loss, bro. Like,
yes, we are. We keep saying that we're going to have loss. That we're going to have loss. But look what. That's why I said it was important for people to examine what I was doing, so you can see me actually put it together. You see me putting it thing, and I'm explaining everything that you were explaining. The whole point is that the lights itself run on a battery phone charger, which is 5 volts, 1 amp. That's where I'm getting my power for the lights. When it actually charges through the system, which we already went through, which works, I plug in my phone charger, which has pass-through charging, into the charge controller, which comes from the bigger batteries. Do I have loss? Yes. Does the system make up for that loss? Yes. Because it's continuously it's been running for 8 years. That's what I've been trying.
No one says it doesn't run. See what I'm saying, Lance? No one's questioning that it works. That's not the question. So, Lance, just to give you an idea, he's saying use artificial light to power solar panels to drive something else. He's missing the point that he's putting power in the lights.
So you're using electricity to power to get electricity, but it's not more electricity.
Correct.
So if you take away electricity that's coming from the wall, what alternative do you use to get out more output as opposed to what you're putting in?
Good question, and that's what I kept saying, because my system is not plugged into the wall, so I'm not drawing any energy from the wall.
What?
No, I've been trying to tell you that my system is not plugged into the wall.
I just didn't understand the relevance. I'm sorry.
Okay, but I'm not drawing energy from outside sources. So if it's been running for 8 years...
What's driving the lamp?
What's running for 8 years?
Okay, it's two questions.
I just described, bro.
Yeah, the system that we talked about has been running for 8 years. And the second question was what drives the lights. And I said the phone charger, which runs on 5 volts, 1 amp, is what's driving the LEDs.
What's driving the LED?
The phone charger. I'm going to keep saying it.
The phone charger is plugged into a wall or not?
No, it's not plugged into a wall.
You're using solar power?
Yes, I'm using solar power. What I'm saying is the battery charger runs the lights. That's its only purpose.
I know. Where's the battery charger? Wait. What's the wattage of the LED?
5 watts.
Yeah, I got in trouble with that.
5 watts.
5 watts?
Yes.
That's the wattage of the LED?
Yes.
And what's the wattage from the lamp? The solar power system you got?
The lamp and the LEDs are the same thing. I don't understand the question.
No, do you have a solar power unit hooked up?
Yes, the lights run the 2 solar panels.
You said the lights run the solar panels.
The LED lights run the solar panels, just like a solar calculator.
See, you gotta picture this. You gotta picture this. He has lamps driving solar panels.
That doesn't make any sense. Solar panels.
Exactly my point.
Okay, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Use free energy.
No,
wait.
What you're saying is you're using a sponge like a super soaker. That's why we're confused.
Okay, the reason again, it's an easy way to settle that. when you actually go to the videos and you
No. We don't do videos here. We do live.
Exactly. So you're asking me questions, and then you're saying it's impossible, but you haven't seen the system.
I didn't look, bro. No. It's what's impossible is communicating with somebody who wants to use the language but does not understand the vocabulary nor the colloquial usage of the language. So you're misinterpreting or misplacing the words to people who know where the words belong, and then you're telling us to watch a video. That's not how it works. An alternator is an alternator. If I go to your mechanic and your alternator tells me, well, no, go watch my YouTube video, I'm never coming back to your mechanic.
Okay, good. But that's okay.
Okay, now let's
that's
right
okay. That is perfectly okay.
A solar panel does what?
Take light and turns it into electricity.
A solar panel absorbs
electromagnetic waves.
Solar radiation, right? So now, what is it going to do with that if its only purpose of the panel is to absorb electricity? Why would it be powered to do what it's already designed to do?
And how? Wait a minute. Do you want me to answer the question, or you just because, like I said, I've been attacked. When you ask questions,
you're not being attacked. We're not playing victim. Don't play the victim shit over here.
Well, let me answer the question. You're talking over me through the whole thing.
Nobody's attacking you. You're attacking our intelligence.
All I'm asking is you ask the question, can I answer it? That's all. All I'm saying is that's what I'm doing in my system. I have LED lights. I did other videos to show that LED lights can be used to charge.
Again, you're not answering. This is why I reworded the question. The purpose of a solar panel is to absorb light. Whether it's plugged in or not, it's going to absorb light. What is your LED powering in a solar panel? That's what we're confused.
Okay, let me understand the question. You saying what is my LED powering? And I said the phone charger, which is 5 volts, 1 amp, is powering the LED lights.
Okay, where is the power coming from for the LED, from the phone charger?
That's coming from the big main battery, which is plugged into the solar charge that has the USB on the solar charge controller.
So you have a solar panel, is it lithium battery?
No.
What type of battery is it?
Sealed lead acid.
Okay, what is the milliamp hours on a battery?
100 amps.
What is the milliamp hours on the battery?
Not sure.
It should say MAH on the battery.
Yes, but I'm not sure because I'm not looking at it. So.
All right. So then the identity would tell you go from an MAH, and that would tell you how long the actual light can stay on for. So if your battery's putting out 20 amps or 20 watts per hour, and you can do that for 50 hours, and you have a 5-watt battery, that battery was going to run that, 5-watt light is going to run that light for a long time. Then if you're cycling in electricity from the solar panels to the battery, your battery's never going to lose charge. Am I correct, Identity? Did I word it right?
I'm sorry, I was watching this video, bro.
No, because he said he has an acid battery going to the charge output, and that output's going to the LED, and then the solar powers are connected to the battery.
Right.
But the battery that you're using, the milliamp hours might be like 100 times that of the wattage of the light. So just off the battery alone, that light could be on for a long freaking time.
Yes.
Yeah. Milliamp hours is just the capacity of the
okay. And now let me answer with the rest of the system. Because
just so example, like an infrared light in a remote, like old school batteries in your remote, you would go years without changing your batteries in a certain remote.
Yep. Very low current.
Yes.
It's low current, and the signal output is like nothing.
Okay.
So that would last for years. An LED, a 1 volt LED, it probably, if you have a 5, I don't even know if they do, aren't they use like 1 to 3 volt? Your LED lights.
They could go up to 3. They have 5-volt versions. They have different ones.
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
A 20-watt solar panel, is that more than 5 watts of power?
Yes.
So that means that one panel, which I have many in the system, could charge that battery charger, that phone charger, right?
You understand that this isn't any. You just made a glorified solar battery. Recharging solar battery.
Yeah, I said I've been running it for 8 years.
No, you keep bringing up the running for 8 years. The point is the sun isn't going anywhere. So long as that battery, the sun stays on, you don't have a system that's going to require anything that's there. So when you're saying it to somebody else, it sounds like something, but having an LED on you can have it on for 100 years. The sun isn't going anywhere.
Here's the wrinkle, Q. Here's the wrinkle. His solar panels aren't outside. They're in his basement, and they're being powered by lamps.
That makes even less sense.
This is what I'm trying to understand, bro. Yes.
That's a loop.
Yes.
Yes. He's dumping more energy than he has to, but
energy over and over.
Exactly, but it's not. But he's wasting it because it's going to go to heat.
Yes.
Big part. It's gonna get wasted. So
yes, it's going to get wasted.
They're like good looks.
It's going to get wasted, but I have the power because they're the 20 watts that I'm using is going to get wasted, but it's way more power being in the system itself than.
But you're powering it by lamps. So how do you expect to get 20 watts when you're powering it by?
Because we use the MOSFET. We just went over that. That's how I got the current that I needed to keep the battery charged. That's what the MOSFETs were there for. That's what we put the circuit in there. Once I could charge the batteries, and it goes through my charge controller, and it says amps because that's how it reads it, and it's charging the batteries.
Into a current, but power in is going to be higher than what goes out. That's physics. That it doesn't.
Yes, but I can waste it because I have plenty of power. I can waste it because I have plenty of power.
You have an abundance of power, and you're willing to just trash it.
Yes.
Basically, you're making a fun toy to experiment with, brother. Does it work in the woods?
Yes.
Okay. So where are you going to get the electricity from in the woods?
It comes from what I said, the small battery, which is 5 watts, run the LED lights. It puts it into the 2 panels, which are 20 watts apiece, which means that 17 volts plus 17 volts. And yes, I waste a lot of energy, but I have abundant of energy because when you stack them, which is, like I said, when you look at it, you go, oh, that's a very large stack. So it's putting out a lot of power, but it's drawing the power needed to put back into the system.
Well, hold on. The only thing putting out power is your battery and the solar panels. Your LEDs are not putting out power. They're using it.
Yes, but what I'm saying...
Aren't those the lamps, though? I think he's using the lamps to power the solar panel.
Yes, thank you. 2 of them.
How are we going to power your lamps in the woods?
With a battery charger, which I show how I did it. With it.
Listen, bro, we trying to apply the application without any outside energy. So before you create the loop, let's say you just take the battery and that starts it. The battery's dead now.
Like, hold on, you see this? Like, look. You see this right here? Look. So identity put together this layout part of it, right? So this is a buck converter, and this takes 12 volts and brings it down to 5 volts. This battery with this setup can run for almost 2 weeks straight. But this setup doesn't even use that much wattage. So we want to put a solar panel on this with, I forgot whatever the capacitor setup, and that way this can run with the sun. Who knows however long?
Yeah, why you just don't use the sun to recharge the battery and loop from there? Like it's like you got to.
That wasn't the experiment. The experiment was to try to find, which I did, is to take 2 panels sandwiched between LED lights, which is efficient because it runs on 5 watts of power, and you're putting out 40 watts of power from the solar panels when you run it through the MOSFETs to get your pulse currency back.
How do you get 5 watts into the solar and get 40 watts out?
Because that's what it says on the actual solar panel.
We got a problem, bro.
Okay.
We got a problem.
Okay.
If you know how to get 20 watts from high.
Yeah, what's increasing it?
What do you mean what's increasing? That's what we just went over with. What's increasing it
when he's saying what's
is the MOSFET, was the MOSFETs.
There's very specific things we use to step up voltage and current.
Yes.
I don't explain.
We're using MOSFET at high frequency to get pulse current. That's why we're getting a higher current out than the solar panel can put out.
At a much lower voltage, though.
Yes, but I have 2 of them.
Which means your power out is lower than your power in.
But
that is not what you just said. You just said I put 5 watts in and I get 20 watts out.
Yes.
How?
Because I have 2 panels. If it's a 20 watt panel, if you have a
I tap out respectfully. I tap out, man.
Okay.
You can talk to the rest of the panel, but respectfully, I tap out.
Okay. Again, if you have 20 watt solar panels, that's what it does. It says 17 volts on there. If you get full voltage and you put it through your MOSFET to get your current, and the current when you put it back into your charge controller is at 5 amps. That's what the charge controller would read. That means I have enough current to charge my batteries, the big batteries, and then that has enough amperage to run something that's 5 watts. That is a cycle, but one uses one less energy, and the panels do what we call surface area, is the reason why it puts out the power that it puts out, because it's more little panels on there to give you the power that you need from the LED lights, which are just 5 watts.
You just plug that shit in the wall, though. It don't make sense.
Okay. I got a question for you, Lloyd, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just a simple question, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the benefit of this system?
Careful, Wale. I asked that. Be careful.
I'm asking a specific question.
The benefit was to show that I can run this in the cycle, and that I can, and how long I've been running the system, which is still running today. You know, it was done for emergency purpose in the first place. Because I said, what if you don't have sun? What if you just always have this clouding, this raining, this what's named, or a volcano erupt and you just got this cloud cover? Everybody's solar system is useless. In the system that I came
real quick, homeboy, we linked sat down, Deity, you see you back, and he sat you down again. Shout out to WeLinks. Go ahead with your wasteful energy, bro.
Yeah, so what we did is that we created something that runs on LED lights, and even if it ran down, that was the point, to find out, is this going to run down? But even if it just ran for 8 years, wouldn't that be a good backup system? No? Even though if it wastes energy, it's inefficient. I kept asking, does it work? And they kept saying, yeah, it works, but it doesn't matter if it works.
In that system that you're talking about, where is the initial power coming from?
From the small battery charger that runs the LED lights. The LED lights turn on the panels. The panels go through the MOSFETs so we can get a higher current. And the current puts that back into a bigger battery in which we can draw power back into the system as a loop.
Okay, so the first thing that you mentioned is just like a turn-on switch.
Yes, that little small battery is just a turn-on switch.
And then once the thing gets to going, it rejuvenates itself through a system of loops.
Yeah, it goes back through the loop because once you put that onto the charge controller, the charge controller is hooked to the back. Matter of fact, the charge controller won't even work if it's not hooked to a battery. So if that battery,
Right.
so if that battery is much bigger than the little 5-watt battery charger, you said it would run for a long time. But then we saying we're wasting all this power that we're putting it, which is going through a charge controller and charging the bigger battery. So we're ahead.
I think you're not gonna
Wait till he finishes,
power out, bro.
But he's saying, hey, I'm asking him a question. Will you please allow him to answer
You
mine?
repeated the question, bro. We asked that question an hour ago, Wale. Relax. Relax.
You
We
relax.
asked that question an hour
relax.
ago, bro.
I didn't hear the answer.
We
So can
asked
I
him,
get the
okay. All right, then don't act like somebody's up here not. We covered that, so don't get mad at me because you weren't around, bro. Damn.
So let me
why
ask you
you
a question.
mad at me? I'm trying to get the answer from the guy, and he's willing
Get
to
mad at
talk.
you, Wale, man. I'm just. Go ahead, man. I ain't even gonna go there. We good,
Real
Wale. We
quick.
good, bro.
So if you add more panels, will it still only take 5 watts to push?
Each one of the units that I stack up has its own battery powered thing. So each level, we in between the solar panels, we put those phone chargers in between each one of those panels. And because the phone charger has pass-through charging, it is able to take energy from the big battery, charge the battery charger, and run the lights at the exact same time, which I show in my video.
So what your thing is, the benefit of this thing, what you have here, you're presenting, which is what I asked you. It seems to me that I want to make sure I'm understanding. You say the benefit of it is it can work without the solar light, direct solar light. It can work in a basement, and yet it'll still reproduce at a rate that is, it can redraw itself. It can get its energy back.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? You're you're creating a lot of energy, and only, let's say you're creating in that scenario, you're creating or you are assessing 100 volts or whatever. It don't matter, 100 or whatever.
Okay.
And then when you try to use it, you're only being able to use about 30% of it. Is that like an accurate statement or toward accurate statement?
Yes. So
Okay,
the 30% that we're using was higher than the tie grids could handle. The tie grids didn't even need 30% to turned into AC, which has more MOSFETs in there because it is an inverter. That means I've always asked this question to people who know more than me, and I've already admitted you guys know more than me. I says if you use a 100 amp battery, so you got 12 volts, 100 amps, that's in the 1,000 range. That means you rounding it off is in the 1,000. And you hook a 2,000 watt inverter to it. Where did the extra 1,000 watts come from?
They were never there.
No, the 2,000 watt converter, yeah, that was never there. That's just its capacity.
Okay, it's capacity. But so if I plug my microwave into it, will it run my microwave for a short period of time?
I don't know.
Yes, I've done that. Yeah, those are the videos I've been doing. So yes, the microwave will run, but it doesn't run for long. So mine runs about 15 minutes before I delete the battery. That means I'm fully using the 2,000 watts, but it's depleting the battery really, really fast. Okay?
Yes, okay, I get it.
Okay, so, but the...
That's done that to my battery.
Right.
Depleted it really fast.
Right, but...
Not be pulling down 2,500 watts.
Right, right. So I kept saying, where's this extra energy come? And that's what you get your pulse current from. Because the MOSFETs make up that through pulse currents. That's why you have so many in there. So...
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're running a microwave off a battery?
Yes. And they do in all kind of RVs. Every RV in the world does the same thing.
Exactly. That's not good. So now, what I'm saying, I'm not saying to you, it seems the benefit of what you're saying is that when the sun doesn't shine, you can still use this system and get what we're going to amount to as an overdose of energy without putting an overdose of power.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that idea, bro. Why don't you try to add a ground battery instead of using, like, the whole thing is trying to be efficient from, in my idea, my mind, to try to get away from using produced electricity, by the government. Right? If you can use a ground battery and then extend a pole up, you can get energy from that to start your loop.
Have you done that already?
No, but what I was.
I'm talking to the guy that offered it. Has he done it?
Yeah, I made a ground battery before. I was there to see one being made. Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't done it? You don't have that in your. It's not yours. You don't have one. Okay, good show. I'm just trying to get the perspective of.
Well, I was there to see one get made. So my little
let me make this statement. The guy who just made this statement, I don't know your name, but thank you. Thank you. Because now what you just did is that you start working the problem. All I did was sit in my basement and try to figure out something. I got a system that worked. I just stated how it works, how long it works, and told everybody that it's inefficient. And then you worked the problem and you came up with a solution to make it more efficient. And that's all I've been trying to get people to say and do is say, look, we have something, it's potential, it does work, so now it needs to go in the lab and make it more efficient. Let's work out these ideas. But my intention was to just do this as experiment for my company and talk about these things, and all I get is people saying things, if you go through my videos, oh, you can't plug an inverter on in itself. So I made a whole video that says, this guy says, if I take this plug, which is in a loop, and I plug it into the system of this inverter, that this inverter is going to blow up. So when I do it and the inverter don't blow up, then everybody comes at you, well, it'll eventually run down. That wasn't the point of it. You said it was impossible. Then when I proved it wasn't impossible, you go jump off on a new thing. And I says, this is what we saying. We are sitting and trying to come up with things new. And you have to break eggs to make something new. So maybe I'm running in an inefficient way. But my system does work, and other people said it works. Now, how long it works, that's what it's still running over 8 years. And it's running in my basement today, okay? And it's running my whole household, okay? So, yes, because